The fuck? Anyway, YOLO. All right, so we liked the video, so don't copyright strike us. See, we liked it. We're gonna watch it. Don't kill us. I should probably skip the intro, huh?
And some of the best debates I've ever had with guys who had like 4 followers on X. And they're like, let's go down to this X space and talk. And I'll hop in there with them. And I'm like, an hour later, I go, man, that guy had a lot of good stuff to say.
A lot of people out there.
Yeah.
That, and oftentimes those are the ones who don't.
Bro, I wish this guy would like. This is a multi-billion-dollar show. Motherfucker can't even like chapter out stuff.
Don't have a lot of followers because they're not sucked into the social media web. They're just out there thinking and doing things.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a large group of people who do all of this for clout, money, attention, fame, and then there's people who just say the things that are true and they don't care whether people agree or not. It's crazy how that works, guys. It's crazy how that works, guys.
Things and living their
100%.
life. There are a lot of fucking interesting people out there that you never hear from, and a lot of not interesting people that you hear from
Sure.
constantly.
Yes,
time.
all the
It's
time.
Like the politician thing, you know? It's like we were talking about that the other day. Like there's this lady that's running for, oh God, something. Is she running for governor of Wisconsin? Is that what
Huh?
it is? And she was just talking about how Thanksgiving hurts people. Like,
What?
it's like,
What?
What?
yeah. I don't know her background. I think it's the same lady. At one point in time, she was in a mental institution.
That sounds about right.
Why
That's a
does this
problem.
not shock me?
Doesn't shock me.
No.
But this was the point. We were saying nobody wants to be the fucking governor. And the people that do are, there's a high percentage of kooks.
Well, yeah, I mean, positions of power attract, like, generally they attract the worst types of people, right? But, this is why it's important to establish a monarchical system, and you put a just king with good ethics in charge. Because, like, every system is going to be corrupt. You're going to have corruption with every political system. It doesn't matter, which is why it's more important that you have a ethical and like, I don't know, good, I guess, whatever good means, cultural society, and then you prop up the best of that cultural society as your king, as your leader, because the current system is retarded. It's nothing done. It's a waste
That
of
power
time.
attracts strange people. Sometimes it attracts good people.
Yes.
Very
occasionally.
rarely, but it does.
Often,
But those good people get trampled on. Every little detail about them gets dragged. They make a joke. They joke of something the wrong way. They say one thing out of pocket. It gets used against them. The problem with good people in positions of power is that those good people are more likely to be attacked by slander and by character assassinations, and they're effective against those people because they're good people, right? A bad person doesn't give a fuck, but a good person will naturally just kind of cave to that.
but often those are the people who go in and they want to change it. Like the idea that they have is, look, I'm trying to run for the right reasons because I actually want to change how this works, but they're few and far between.
And they get killed.
A lot of them get killed.
Yeah,
Or they
yeah,
get run off.
yeah.
A lot of them
Yeah.
just get involved in their normal day-to-day life, from 20 years prior. Now suddenly that's coming up, and they have to defend themselves against criticisms that they never would have believed that they would have to defend themselves
Right.
from.
Yeah.
And so character assassination, I think,
Yes.
takes a lot of the good actors out.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Andrew. My man. Yeah, character assassination is like the number one political tool used against actual good leaders, like good people of good moral character that actually do good things and want to actually change things. They usually get taken out by character assassination attempts. Go figure.
Deal with the character
The irony is not lost on me, by the way.
assassination.
Well, it seems like they want total compliance on both sides, on both parties. Total compliance with the party.
That's crazy. What does that sound like, guys? That sounds like something we know very well. Total compliance. Fall in line. Believe us. We are the correct. We are the only ones. We're the only legitimate group. We are the correct ones. You must toe the line. You must think the same way we do. Hive mind mentality. Total compliance. If you don't have total compliance, if you criticize us, if you have remotely anything bad to say, that's an attack on all of us. So we can't have that. So you're gone.
And if they think that you're going to be some outsider rebel that's going to take over, fuck you.
Well, I think you kind of have to have that a little bit, though, because if you got universal suffrage, necessarily everything converges into a two-party system. So as suffrage expanded throughout history,
Yep.
you saw the emergence of parties right alongside of it.
Yes.
More people became enfranchised to vote.
So you think if women couldn't vote, there wouldn't be parties?
I hate when people do this, brother. It's not suffrage. It's not just about women voting. Men couldn't vote either, right? Suffrage enabled everybody, enfranchised everybody to vote, right? Which is retarded. If you're like some 18-year-old who just got out of high school, his vote shouldn't matter. He has no life experience. He doesn't know what the fuck he's voting for. Why does his vote mean as much as a guy who's been in 3 tours of Afghanistan? Or why does it matter as much as somebody who owns a business and has employees and has stake in a state or a country that they live in, right? This idea that like everybody's enfranchised to vote, everybody has the right to vote, is fucking retarded, right? Rights are actually the downfall of every civilization, right? Look at Rome. Why did Rome fall? Because it became engrossed in its own, it became insatiated and engrossed in its own like success and its own decadence, and it started giving rights without obligations, rights with no purpose, right? Everybody has rights now, right? So as Rome expanded, it became more liberal and became, actually started giving more rights to regular citizens and expanding the rights of the citizenry. The empire collapsed, right?
There probably would still be parties. It'd probably still be a two-party system. It's just that how it works is that if we continuously expand suffrage, let's just say we expand it to another group of men. Now, those men have some special interest, right? So if it's not just property owners, let's say it's now, people who live in a city. Well, they want a levy passed so that their kids can go to school, right? So they pass it on the property owners. Now they can vote to hand themselves money. So now you have a wedge issue. And so you'll see parties start to form around these wedge issues. And the more you have universal suffrage, the more you end up with party politics until you have a convergence.
Yeah, basically, you end up with like nonsense, like petty politics. Like it's all about these petty little things that ingratiate and benefit each other, right? It's not actually about like the wider scope of like issues anymore. It's not about like the greater scheme of things or like or even like foreign policy to a greater extent or like I don't know, maintaining the it's not even about like a greater goal anymore. It's about like petty wedge issues that don't actually matter to like 99% of people. Like that's what it becomes down to. It's like, and then the politicians will spend billions of dollars in years like slowly brainwashing you and convincing you that these issues matter, right? People are obsessed with trans issues. By the way, I don't give a fuck about trans people. To me, you're not trans. It's not real. I don't care. I'm not going to even I'm not even going to like entertain the idea. But like this idea that like it's the greatest issue plaguing our country at this moment, which is what politicians try to do. It's like it's a stupid wedge issue. It's a petty nonsensical issue that actually had nothing to do with me or regular people, and it's like less than 1% of the population. It literally means nothing, does nothing. They'll go and they'll take like little stories here and there, like one-off stories that happen here and there, and they'll like explode them to make them bigger than they are. It's just nonsensical. It's a waste of time. In fact, they actually make things worse, right? Because it's the same thing with the Columbine shooting, right? Columbine was the trigger for mass school shootings everywhere. Why? Because they literally just like exaggerated and blew up the story as much as possible to create like a wedge issue to attack guns, right? They tried to use that to attack guns, so they blew up the issue bigger than it actually was, as a one-off, and then you get copycats, right? Because you put the thing out into the zeitgeist, right? You create the problem yourself, right? It's kind of like it's kind of why like I don't like a lot of these like entertainment commentary channels like Nerdrotic and shit. Like it's not like I don't dislike them. I do watch them. I do like these guys, but like they also create their own problems. Like they create their own hell essentially, is like by constantly like it's like, do you not think that you watching a bad show, but then also giving that show the eyes of millions of people through your videos, you don't think that perpetuates the problem, right? Yeah, actually, most things go away if you just fucking ignore them. Like, a lot of these things are petty issues that don't matter. Like, if the movie's bad, you just don't go see it. And if everybody just doesn't go see it and they don't talk about the movie, then the bad movie just loses money and it just disappears and they don't make another one. But what happens is they make a bad movie and then millions of people talk about how bad it is. So then people will watch it just to hate watch, or just the idea that people are talking about it in general is enough for advertisers and investors to be like, okay, let's make another one, right? So you perpetuate your own hell, essentially. It's the same thing with politics by ad nauseum talking about pathetic, pointless shit like transgender issues and bathrooms and all this nonsense all the time that just completely doesn't fucking matter, right? It's like, elect the Fuhrer, get a painter in charge, fucking just like put all these people in mental asylums, end of story, move on. We got bigger problems to deal with, right? Like, we actually have like global issues going on where like China is a threat to our empire. We have, other countries that are a threat to our empire. The empire is crumbling around us, right? We're watching Rome crumble in real time, and then we're too busy arguing about like decadence and stupid bullshit all the time. Intentionally, by the way, it's like intentionally, made that way.
Divergence of two, and usually it's along a certain wedge issue. So the only way in a dialectic where you have two parties.
This is why democracy's fake and gay, and it's just not a viable means of governance.
Democrat and Republican, to get your legislation passed is to be able to outvote the other side, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to have them all in line.
Yes. That's the current problem, right? It's like, this is why you hear Republicans all the time calling each other traitors and shit, because it's like the way the system is currently structured, especially with suffrage, is that in order to even get anything done, because the system is so fucking broken, it was not intended to be like diverged this way. With universal suffrage, but because you have universal suffrage, like, it gets to a point where if a party wants to do something, said party has to actually completely overpower the other one, right? You have to completely completely control all the levies of power to even get something done. And even then, right, we can see that now where the Republicans control literally everything and they still can't really get shit done because one or two dissenters completely ruin it, right? So it's just like, it's just nonsensical. It's a waste of time. Who the fuck is blowing up my DMs? Oh, it's our collab. I have to mute this. Cool.
Or else.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's no room in this country at the current point in time for another party. No one would accept it. We
No.
think about other parties like they're a goof.
No, there'll never be a third party that's viable. All third parties do is they're kind of like a fuck you to whatever group they're mad at. So, like, I think Tucker's making like a new party, essentially, whatever the fuck they're doing, and it's not going to do anything, and they're never going to win. It's basically just a fuck you to their establishment Republicans, and it's basically leverage to get what they want.
Green
Because
Party.
ultimately, like, the Republican Party will have to capitulate, right? Like, if they get enough, even if they only get like 2 or 3%, like, that's enough to make the Republican Party capitulate, because elections are determined in this country by 1 or 2% every time. So
Like that's a protest.
that's why it's always so funny to me when people talk about like, oh, red wave, blue wave, oh my god, we're gonna crush this. Like, it's so funny watching these like like MAGA dick rider fucking commentary channels always talk about like, dude, I don't know how they're gonna do in midterms. They're gonna get smoked. This is so stupid. Nobody sees this and thinks this is good. By the way, like, Democrats are probably gonna sweep the midterms. It's just like, I don't know how many times we have to do this before these people learn how this shit actually works. So, like, regular people are retarded, like the masses are retarded. This is like common sense. Like, yeah, like you're part of a niche small group of people that can look and use critical thinking. The majority of people don't. They, somebody goes and tells them this guy's bad, they believe you, right? It's like,
Libertarian Party.
Yeah,
is
I've done
too.
that. I've done a few protest votes back in my day.
Yeah, I talked with. I was arguing with Rex Jones the other day. It's Alex Jones's kid.
oh yeah,
About this.
Rex
And
is an
I told
idiot.
him, I'm like, look, you don't have a prayer in starting a third party
You don't.
in
Nope.
time for midterms.
And
and
not
then
even in time. You
presidential.
have no pair at all, even in this country. It'll never happen. As long as there's universal suffrage, you can never have more than two parties.
Election that's coming up in just a couple short years. You're not going to be able to replace this system. You're not going
No,
to be.
you have to
They're
destroy it.
Their roots go too deep.
Yeah, you have to
too
destroy it.
intertwined.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a waste of time. This whole idea, oh, I can change it. I can change it. You can't change it. There's no point. You got to destroy it. Right? The path we're on does not work. If we stay on the path we're on, we're going to fall just like Rome did. All the signs are there. We have the same issues that Rome did at its peak, and we have the same issues knocking on our doorstep that they did. So it's only a matter of time. It's like you either change or you go down with the ship. So we'll see what happens. The current system is completely corrupt. There's no fixing it. Without an actual some kind of authoritarian dictator coming in, we're just fucked. We're cooked. It is over.
Power
The
and
infrastructure.
influence.
Like, think about the
Yeah.
infrastructure.
I don't know how many times we got to go through this every time, and people are still just completely just don't get it.
Billions of dollars in NGO funding,
Mm-hmm.
all this outreach program, just to get on a ballot in a state is often a multi-million-dollar
Yes.
thing that you need
Yes.
to have a party apparatus behind.
Yeah.
It's-
It's kind of nuts, right? $multi-million to spend to get a job that pays you $170,000.
Uh-huh.
And then you come out multimillionaire.
Why you think that fucking student loans are a scam? That's a crazy
Well, I
scam.
love when these guys come in for their $100,000 a year job, and then they leave and they have $25 million in the bank.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens often.
Yep.
Oh, that
Happens every time.
Often.
When do we get all that money?
Yeah, where do you get all that money, guys?
Ilhan Omar thing.
Oh yeah, she's
That one's
great.
that one's wild. They estimated her net worth somewhere it was millions, 30 million or something
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and then she said it was a error, and then it was actually a lot less than that, 100,000 or something really reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
What?
imagine if your accountant was so
Yeah, you gotta
bad?
fire your
You're like,
accountant,
hey,
bro.
Mike, how much money am I worth? And he's like, I think you're worth 30 million. And you're like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm thinking about buying a Corvette.
and you got $3,000 in the bank.
And then you call Mike the next day. The case with one of those businesses that closed down.
Edge issue like abortion. So you got Christians who are just adamant, right? Just got to stop. Will they accept if it's the case that candidates are really moving the post on that? If they're really moving legislation against abortion, do you think that they would turn a blind eye to a little bit of corruption? Probably.
Yeah, there's definitely some compromises that get made both on your morals and the way you view financial issues and all kinds of things. I mean, it's never, especially there's only two parties. You're with us or against.
Yeah, I mean, both sides are two sides of the same coin. I mean, you literally have Republicans during Biden era that were running on this anti-censorship platform that now engage in censorship, especially if what you're saying is quote unquote anti-Semitic. The amount of anti-Semitism laws that the Republicans have passed that basically violate violate freedom of speech is it's astronomical. So the party that ran for 4 years on anti-censorship censors just as much. Actually, they censor technically they censor more. They censor speech more than the left did for 4 years because the left couldn't get any of that shit actually passed, whereas the Republicans have actually gotten anti-Semitism laws passed on the books, and a bunch of other fucking just free speech censorship shit. So they actually censor more than the left does, which is hilarious.
Against us.
Has to be
It's
that
us
way,
and
yeah.
them. It's good and evil. That's it. In this country, that's really how people look at it on both sides. It's good versus evil.
But you have an alternative there that's even worse, or can at least sometimes be worse. So let's go to the UK or Canada or places like this where they do round voting.
Yeah.
You have more than two
Oh,
parties.
God,
that's
yeah.
true. But
It's
do you
so
really
bad.
want your president to be elected with 10% of the vote?
No.
Right.
15% of the vote? You want your politicians to be put in with 9% of the vote?
Oy.
Because that can happen.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
know, yeah, between these rounds. And so you think about it and you go, this two-party system sucks. But then you look at other places that have multiple parties and they do their rounds of voting. And you're like, wait, so you could get elected with only 14% of the vote. So everybody else hates you.
Yeah. There's the weird argument of the benevolent dictator. I'm sure you've heard this argument.
Yes.
That a society is best run by a benevolent dictator.
Yes, it is. Yes, literally, God told us this. Yes, God very clearly established Israel. It very clearly established a form of government that worked, and handed it down to us, and that's what we're supposed to do, right?
Someone who really truly has ultimate power but actually cares. A good person that cares about the people, that really just wants things to be reasonable and have a working meritocracy and have a working economy and have working education.
Damn, it sounds a lot like Mein Führer. Sounds a lot like Napoleon.
And everything work correctly and weed out all of the fraud and corruption because he's a king and he can just
He can just do it.
do it whatever the fuck you want, you know. Like, look, I have only been to Dubai one time.
Yeah, the problem with the benevolent dictator or the benevolent monarch, right, is that inevitably the benevolent monarch dies. And then what? Right? And then what? So that's always the problem, right? Like, between, like whether it's like Napoleon or we go to look at like Alexander the Great. I mean, look at Alexander, bro. Conquered the world. Didn't even get to rule it. He dies, and then his fucking shitty kids take all the land and they split it up and they become the Seleucid Empire and all these other little empires, and they all just fucking fight with each other nonstop. And they all end up like destroying each other like over the years, right? It's just like the problem is with the benevolent dictator or the benevolent monarch is, what do you do when they die? How do you find another one? How do you do secession? The problem is the secession is not. It's the problem, right? It's not that like monarchy is necessarily bad. It's not that like dictatorship is necessarily bad. It's just like how do you transfer that power to the next person? Because there's always going to be bad actors. So that's inevitably the problem. That's why these things work in the short term, but they don't work in the long term because I don't know. You would have to have like a third party that oversees, but like how do you do that? Because man is corrupt. So it's like, oh, well, maybe you put like the church oversees it. And like for a while, I think we tried that for a long time, during like, early European life, but I don't know, the church is pretty corrupt too. I guess it depends which church it is. I mean, it definitely can't be the Catholic Church. I think we tried that one. It didn't really work out too well, but yeah, I don't know. It's the problem is like when the person dies, then what?
Because we had a UFC over there, and I had to go to the weigh-ins. The weigh-ins were in Dubai. Saw a lot of fucking Ferraris and Lamborghinis in 10 minutes, but from what I hear, it's the most safe place on earth.
Yeah, it's very safe. Even for women, people have this like misconception that like Dubai, like, oh, if you're a female in Dubai, you're gonna get like sexually assaulted and harassed, and you can't. Like, that literally never happens. This is like Dubai is like the number one place for like Filipinos to like go and work. Like Filipino women, like they usually will outsource themselves to Dubai, and they'll do like housekeeping jobs and shit there. And like most of them, almost all of them will tell you like it's completely safe. They never get harassed. Nothing ever happens to them. It's like the number one spot that like I know like Filipinos, because I dated a bunch of Filipino women. They all worked at Dubai at one point or the other. My friend lives in Dubai. He does like crypto stuff. He lives in Dubai with his family, and he literally tells me every day that, bro, you need to move here. It's like literally like nothing happens. Nobody steals. Nobody causes any crime. It's like it's super safe as long as you just follow the rules, and that's it. I'm like, all right.
Like literally. Like there's
Romania under Vlad.
Yeah. Like what would you say?
Like Romania under Vlad.
Yeah, Romania under Vlad was very good.
How can you hang gold in the street? And he's look around. There's a bunch of people impaled everywhere.
Yeah, almost like Nazi Germany, like basically 0% crime rate. Streets are clean, infrastructure runs, trains run on time. I wonder why, guys.
Them in designs.
Yeah.
He would do them in geometric patterns, so you would realize he was being creative with impaling people.
He wasn't messing around.
Oh no. You know his story?
Yeah.
He was kidnapped when he was a small boy. Woo!
Was he kidnapped? I don't think he was kidnapped. I'm pretty sure he was given, like, basically to be like a what the fuck's the name for the fucking boy slaves that they would use? He was given to the Turks. He wasn't kidnapped. I don't think he was kidnapped. Pretty sure he was given, but I could be wrong. It's been a while.
There's a lot to that guy.
And his brother. and their
Yeah, a
you
bunch of
know,
civil strife with his
inter-brother
brother.
conflict that they had for years, and how he got power, lost power. Yeah, there's a tale to be told about
Yeah.
Vlad the Impaler for sure. But
They're too busy.
probably a pretty safe place to live.
They're too busy. They're too busy making vampire movies about him.
Yeah, Dubai. Like if they catch you with a bag of weed, you're going to jail for the rest of your life, or they'll kill you.
Yeah,
You know,
you're done.
Yeah, they have crazy laws. There was one guy, I think it was Dubai, who I think he had like marijuana seeds in the sole of his shoes or something like that. Like he had stepped on a marijuana seed maybe in his apartment,
Yeah.
and he was
Oh, I don't
didn't
care
have
about
any.
this shit.
British government came in and tried to barter him out of there, I'm guessing.
I guess, or the whole world must have been so outraged. I mean, at a certain point in time, they have to say we run the risk of never having tourists visit us
Right.
again, and Dubai is a very tourist central place.
Sure.
But I have a
Yeah, I don't think they want potheads visiting their country anyway. To be honest with you.
friend who moved over there a while back. He moved back to America recently, but he moved over there and he was like, dude, it's just safe for me. You know, I don't worry if I go out. You know, someone's gonna like. He's
Yeah, my buddy lives there right now, and he always says it's super safe.
a big black guy. He's like, I don't want to get shot. He goes, I worry
He's also black. My friend is also black, unironically.
if I go out. He goes, over here, there's nothing like that. There's no crime. He goes, everything's nice, everything's clean. You can leave a Rolex on the street. They'll pick it up and turn it into the cops. Like nobody steals nothing over there.
But
Yeah,
there's a
because
trade-off for
they'll cut your hand off.
that, right? Bit of a
Let me
trade-off
show
for
you
that.
my geometric patterns
Yeah.
of dead people
Of dead
on
people
spikes.
everywhere on spikes who we impaled from their buttocks through their throat.
Yeah,
Like
and they
that-
don't die immediately.
No, they
Um,
wiggle for a while.
I don't think they do that in Dubai, but they let you know. Yeah,
They're
you're
not
not
messing
fucking
around.
around. There's
Yeah.
no fucking around. I saw some lady getting in a screaming match. She was trying to do the thing that'll. Okay.
Okay, so what if instead of bringing in like some crazy Sharia in order to make sure that that happened, you just brought back dueling? Like, wouldn't dueling solve? Like,
No, dueling wouldn't solve anything. He always brings dueling up. It's kind of retarded.
Phone.
oh yeah,
It just got broken up today by the cops.
I didn't see it got broken up.
It got broken up today. Yeah, see if you can find it, Jamie. There was video footage, just fucking army of cops came in, arrested everybody, spray paint all over the streets
Why
and
do people
garbage
just get
everywhere.
to declare autonomous zones on public? Like, what is?
Autonomous
Remember
zones
Chaz
again.
and Chop?
Yes,
They're
I
just,
remember.
oh, we have we've just declared this an autonomous zone. Sorry.
Madison.
Yeah, freedom is retarded. Just send in the fucking police and kill them all. Shit, I don't know why we do this
things
shit.
in the news that it's impossible unless you're a maniac and
Yeah.
you're just online all day. It's impossible to know exactly what's going on. You take a couple days off and smell the roses, and you get back online. Like, how come you haven't commented on? I go, what is
Yeah,
it? I don't
you
even
gotta,
know what you're
you gotta
talking
catch
about.
up for 4 days for one.
Yeah, fun fact. You don't actually have to comment on everything. Sometimes you can just shut your fucking mouth.
One day.
Yeah. Also, like, what hot take? Maybe you shouldn't have a hot take on everything.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Maybe some things you need to like let it play out in the news. Like let people dissect it.
See, now that I wish that was a message that more people got. That the
Yeah.
idea that you don't have to rush immediately out there to tell everybody your latest hottest take.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, right? It's almost like you let things play out sometimes, guys.
Which is oftentimes, by the way, stupid.
Yeah,
it's
Ellen
often a
Page.
stupid take because you have no information, right? But you're gonna rush out there. You're gonna get those views and clicks
Yeah.
quick, but then you're married to that take.
Exactly. Yeah, and unless you come back and make another video or make another take and explain why you fucked it up. But I think that there's something to be said for like there's a lot of stories that are in the news like I don't fucking know exactly what happened there. Like let's let this one play out a little bit. Like this one seems weird. Like if I come out with a hot take, like who fucking knows what's really going on with 15 like there's so many
We're
different
going
stories.
Destiny
It's
mode.
impossible.
Police
What's that, Jimmy?
I didn't find the details, but it is a police killing. It says officer involved
Mm.
shooting of Corey Ruiz. And that's out. Doesn't. I'm looking for evidence and video. I didn't check Twitter or anything yet.
I think I saw this. This looked pretty bad. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it did look pretty bad for the cop. like it just looked like the motherfucker straight executed him. But I couldn't tell. They're claiming he was like stabbing the officer or something. But I don't know. You can't see anything. None of them had body cameras on, which is like kind of sus too. So I don't know. They're kind of fucked. It's just gonna be like he said, she said, and then the cops are probably gonna win because it's the cops. So,
Put it into Perplexity. Ask Perplexity.
but of course he's black, by the way. Of course he's black.
What is the controversy
Fighting with the cops, getting an altercation with the cops, not complying. Of course he's black.
about the killing of Corey Ruiz?
We can't be, we're not designed to get all the bad news of 8 billion people. We're just not designed for that. That's not a normal thing for a person to absorb.
It's also driving a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also why it's designed that way, right? It's supposed to kind of make everybody kind of like not neurodivergent. What the fuck's the word? It's kind of supposed to make everybody crazy, right? That's why the news perpetuates nothing but terrible shit all day, 24/7. Like the news channels run actual like despair porn all day long, and it's intentional. It's intentional, right? They do it on purpose. The Jews, they do it on purpose. It's to keep the goyim in check. It's to keep you guys all paranoid and schizoed out of your minds all the time. Always assume the worst at all times.
Are people crazy?
Crazy.
Driving them
crazy.
to insanity. They think
Yes.
they start to see conspiracy everywhere. They start
Yeah,
to
I think-
plots of interest
Big-
where there aren't any.
Right.
It
Yes.
starts to actually drive people mad.
Yes.
Because they can't disassociate between the fact that
Yes.
there is sensationalism and then there's reality. And the way
Yes.
that people think, they think in frames.
Yes. Very true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say. That's basically what it is. Yeah, people can't tell like reality anymore. I mean, I had like a whole tweet about this, how like your perception of the truth is not actually truth. Like that's just your like retarded perception. Like there's reality, there's reality of events, and there's the truth of events, and there's like whatever weirdo perception that you have of them. Like I don't really care what your perception of it is. It's like this is what really happened. So, it's like your perception of events is not some kind of, it's not your truth. Like this idea is like such a fucking communist coded fucking language.
So
And you see people on the right using shit like this too. Like, well, my truth in my perception. It's like,
if you
okay,
think in a conspiratorial frame, you're usually taking tangential things and piecing them together that don't belong.
Right.
But then if you think in an autistic frame, as my friend Paul would say, if you think in an autistic frame, you're going to hone down so deep on one detail that you miss the entirety of the picture.
Yes.
Right? So you have to have an idea between these two things, right? It's like conspiracies exist. We know this. Many of them exist. There's many of them I can say off the top of my head, like MK Ultra. That was a conspiracy that existed.
Yeah.
Right? There's but
Got Milk. That's my favorite one. Got Milk. Milk's actually terrible for you, but the government convinced you all it was good for you so they could sell cheese at a cheese mountain.
there's also a lot that don't.
Right.
And so how do you disassociate between the two?
And you have to come to the recognition that some of these fake ones were planted to make the real ones look stupid.
Flooding the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like UFOs. UFOs are fake and gay. It's a government psyop to make you guys look like fucking retards, to explain biblical entities, like demons and angels that you're seeing break the fourth wall, and they need to explain that away because little G God is in charge of the world, and little G God is in charge of the government, and then it tells the government to make sure you don't actually believe in these things, and you just think it's UFOs and aliens that don't exist and can't exist because they're not real.
This is a common strategy. What was it, Jamie? You pulled it up?
Controversy centers on whether Madison police needed to use deadly force against 38-year-old Corey Ruiz, a black man
I-
during
I-
July 20.
I don't care about this. I don't care about this fucking Enwa.
If he's got all these people, and are these like a bunch of like shitty, untrained police officers who don't know equipment? I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. So these guys,
Did you
look
ever
like, come on, man, back up.
What was he reaching for on the ground?
Is that the girl? The woman shoots him.
You know how you avoid all of this, by the way? You fucking comply with the police. Fucking black people, bro.
Okay.
Oh
Oh yeah, that looks really bad.
yeah.
I can't tell who shot the gun, but that was fun.
Okay, that's crazy.
Bro just executes him. Yeah, it's not good.
See the view from the back.
It's very blurry. The whole thing. We didn't even know who shot. We thought the lady shot him.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell what the fuck is going on. You can't.
How did you think the lady shot him, by the way? It's so obvious that this guy put the gun to his head and it fucking executed him.
Can't even tell if it's a taser or a gun in her hand. It's that black taser symbol. Wasn't that the woman?
Oh my god. How long did they
They're
talk
all-
about
They've
this?
seen those videos too. So if you start shit with a cop and
That is a brutal job to have. I have a buddy of mine's a deputy.
I don't
nut
care
inside
about
of her, and
I
that
don't care
creates a
about police.
life. And that life they're responsible for, and they're smoking crack and drinking Everclear, and they have a baby growing inside their body, and no one can do anything about it. It's like there's no protection for that baby. There's no nothing. And
Well, yeah. You wanted freedom. right? You want to believe in imaginary rights and freedoms. This is the consequences. Everything has consequences, right? If you live in a society that's like way more strict and like ruled by like with an iron fist, like there's benefits to it, but there's also a cost to it, right? But same thing with freedom. When you have absolute freedom, everybody can do whatever the fuck they want. Then like, who are you to then tell the two crackheads that they can't fucking have a child and do whatever they want with that kid? Like, that's not up to you, right? You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose what you want. Like, when freedom's convenient, when it's not. Like, you either have it or you don't. Like, I don't know. It's a price for everything, brother.
And if that baby is born, if it does live,
Some people, actually, majority of people, do not deserve freedom. They don't actually know what to do with it, right? They sit at home all day, play video games. Case in point, myself, right? Freedom is fake and gay. Most people don't deserve it. They don't know what it actually entails. They don't know what it means. They don't even need it, right? Most of us are not free. Most of us are wage slaves that exist in a system that oppresses us, takes from us, and literally saps the life out of us every day, but we still participated in it anyway, right? for this delusion that we go home for 6 hours a day and have some kind of freedom to do what we want. Like, it's just, yeah, it's like most of us are not free anyway. So it's this idea that of freedom is retarded. Just like, thank you, fuck you.
you know, you talk to people that have actually like been in a delivery room with crack babies. It's like, oh my god, man, the horror stories about a child addicted to drugs coming out of the womb addicted to drugs,
Yeah.
and detoxing,
Heavily addicted.
heavily addicted.
Yeah,
so
it's
horrible.
ghoulish.
It's so twisted. It's like,
Yeah, it's almost like Dubai's onto something with banning drugs. Thank you, Joe Rogan. Thank you for proving their point.
people can be so awesome and so shit at the same time.
Majority of people are shit. Majority of people are retarded. This is why you don't let the majority decide things.
Coexisting on the same patch of dirt, and no one devises a legitimate strategy for mitigating the amount of people that suck and the problems with.
Can it even be done?
I don't know.
Actually, a lot of people did. I mean, Napoleon did. Hitler did. Fucking, you know, a lot of people came up with pretty good solutions to how you deal with the masses and how you deal with retards. Slavery was a pretty good one. You know, I think we should bring slavery back. It would solve a lot of our problems. You take a lot of these fucking retarded people that do drugs all day and have nothing doing going on with their lives, and you give them task and purpose, right? You can do humane slavery, indentured servitude, right? The Romans did it. Lots of people did it. Worked for all of them. In fact, when they got rid of things like that, that's when their society collapsed.
I mean,
Yeah,
not
like,
with
if you-
not with
yeah.
freedom. I mean, this,
Not everybody deserves freedom. Not everybody deserves rights. That's just like rights are bullshit anyway, right? People who do things of merit, deserve rewards for that merit, right? If you're a soldier and you go off to war and you fight for your country and expand the borders of your country and protect your country and your people and your family, right? You're obligated, in my opinion, at that point, merit-wise, to certain rights, right? Same thing if you go and you're a firefighter your entire life. I think you serve your community, you serve people for your whole life, and that's what you do. I think you're obligated to have some level of rights. But when you're a fucking crackhead or you're a pothead that works at Walmart for 20 hours a week, and then you go home and then you play video games all day, and that's all you do with your life, I don't think you're obligated to some sort of rights or some kind of freedom that the same way other people are obligated to it. That's just my opinion, but whatever.
this is the flock camera question. You know, do you want Big Brother looking at your license plate everywhere you go? Well, listen, if someone shoots up, like this is an argument that Mark Andreessen made on this podcast.
Well, Big Brother is good if you have an ethical, leadership structure, right? If it's an ethical and holy leadership structure, you don't have to worry about Big Brother because Big Brother's not going to come kicking your door for like false charges, right? But the problem is when the system is corrupt and it's run by the actual little G worshiping, little God worshiping people, then yeah, it's kind of dangerous to give them that kind of surveillance system over you. But they have that anyway. I mean, your phones are listening to you 24/7. They get all of my internet traffic. They know all about me generating a bunch of fucking Hitler fucking photos fucking probably like 3 days ago. So I'm sure I'm being watched and monitored. So.
When he had come here, right before he had come here, there was a shooting in Austin where
some kids just randomly started shooting at people, and then they couldn't find them in Austin. But as soon as they left Austin city limits, they went to an area that had flock cameras, and they got them like that. So this was his argument for the benefits of flock cameras. But I do believe he invests in flock
Well,
cameras.
sure. I mean, but you can make that argument with CCTV as well. You can make that argument with
Everyone wear a chip.
Yeah,
Everyone wear a body
sure.
camera.
Yeah, there's cost and benefits to everything, man. It's just like it's just a stupid argument. Next, he's gonna argue slippery slope. Watch. It's gonna be like, well, that's a slippery slope. If we go down there, did we do this? Did we do that? Like, it's just stupid. Slippery slope is not like you can't in debates. Slippery slope argumentation is not allowed because it's nonsensical. It's all based on assumption. It's not based on any fact, right? You have no backing for what you're saying. You're just making a case that, whoa, if we did this and that's gonna lead to this and this is gonna happen, then we're gonna go here, then the world's gonna end and we're all gonna be fucking aliens and impregnated by dogs. I like it's just stupid, bro. Just fucking stupid. Like slippery slope argumentation is done by low IQ fucking mongoloids that like can't actually form coherent thought, right? Like you don't make assumptions of what's going to happen. You don't make big grandiose assumptions because like, oh well, we should like, oh they're gonna ban drugs. Oh, that's gonna be such a slippery slope. It's gonna lead to all this crazy shit. By the way, like I said, we'll bring up Dubai again. Dubai has pretty much like a complete ban on pretty much all drugs. They don't have like a secret drug epidemic. They don't have like people. Every time you talk about banning something, people go like, "Well, that didn't work during prohibition." It's like motherfucker. Prohibition was like a completely different. That's a whole different idea, and it wasn't even completely banned. Like you just don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like this idea that if we ban something, if we ban porn, they're gonna start running illegal porn rings everywhere. Like no, they won't, because like you'll have a government that goes in and just fucking like axes that shit out of existence, right? You're assuming that the government's going to be corrupt and be lazy when it comes to enforcing it, right? That you're assuming the enforcement will be lazy and bad, right? Like it was during Prohibition, where the enforcement was lazy and bad because women pushed Prohibition through, not men, and most men didn't want it, right? So most men didn't care, which most men were in positions of power. So the people in positions of power gave very little shits about enforcing prohibition laws, right? So this is why you had speakeasies. This is why you had like people who got away with a lot of shit, because a lot of people were getting their hands greased and they would allow things to go through because they also wanted the alcohol, right? They didn't want the ban. They thought it was stupid, right? So it's like, but if like everybody agrees that, hey, porn is bad, we should ban it, and then your government actually enforces that ban, then no, you're not going to have secret little speakeasy porn centers everywhere. Like Dubai doesn't have any of that shit. Like there is no drugs. If you get caught with drugs, you're in jail. Plain and simple. They actually enforce their rulings, right? So slippery slope argumentation is retarded because you're assuming that it won't actually be enforced, which maybe it won't, because it's America. We don't enforce any of our fucking laws properly. But it's like in other countries anyway, or especially if you have a dictatorship or something, like cases, it's probably going to get enforced, right? Like,
thing is you have to be cautious with the idea of the nanny state for another reason besides just protecting people's independent privacy. It's because those things often become money wells for people to steal from the public trough.
Oh yeah.
And
oh yeah, I mean that's green energy in a nutshell. The entire Green New Deal scam is just money funneling. It's money funneling by the same actors, right? It's just like, oh well, you need these windmills, but these windmills are very inefficient. We'll have to cut down the entire forest. We'll have to kill all the animals here, and then we'll have to replace them every year, and then we'll have to put them in a landfill where they can't be actually broken down. And they use more oil than you would use if you actually used oil to power your city or your town. You sign here, give us like $10 billion. Like it's all a scam.
Major.
It's kind of like the AI space. Like now you have all these fucking API propagation fucking sites, and they're all scammers. They all charge 300%. They're all banking 300% fucking income off of all these APIs they're selling to you. It's just a bunch of bullshit. You open up a door to bad actors that take advantage of something. It is what it is. Which is why local AI gen can't expand fast enough to the point where AI actually does what it's intended to do, where everybody has access to it and everybody has access to the power of AI, and then you can just run it locally and you don't have to go through these scammy sites anymore.
Issue, right? So some of the reasons I tend, even though I'm on the Paleo-Christian side, to lean towards a lot of the freedom elements over the non is because of the corruption. The corruption which happens oftentimes when you try.
Yeah, but if you didn't have the corruption, you'd be for it, wouldn't you? Because I would too, right? The issue is the corruption. So what you do is you weed out the corruption. So there's your problem to solve, right? It's not about like, oh, well, we need a better system. Well, no, you need a system that's not corrupt. So like you have to think of, how do I avoid corruption, right? This is the problem, is nobody sits there and thinks about like, well, how do I make a system that can't be corrupted? Like that doesn't have corruption. Like how do we do that? Right? That's what you should be thinking about. That's the core, right? You know, everybody always knows what the core issue of something is. Well, it's not that this thing is a bad thing necessarily. It's just that the corruption makes me worried about it. Well, then deal with the corruption. That's the problem, is it not? So
curtail too much, right? That in and of itself creates a system, and that system becomes ripe for corruption. Let me give you an example. Flock cams, who we awarding the contracts to,
Right.
and who's going to be servicing those contracts, who's going to be doing these things, right? That's where you start to see with new systems, there becomes new corruption. So there has to be a way to curtail, but there's some things that are pretty obvious that you can curtail, and who cares if people bitch about it? Like, let's take online prostitution, for instance. Okay, great. It's illegal to do OnlyFans, let's say. How the hell could that possibly be bad for society? Like, what is what is that going to do that's just, oh, we got to have that, though, Andrew. We got to have.
yeah, but I can make the same argument with yours. Like, okay, there's flock cameras everywhere. Bad actors get caught doing bad things and get arrested. Like, what's the problem here? Like, oh, what do you think? Like, people are going to use the flock cameras to spy in somebody's house? Like, the camera's not in their house. That's not going to happen. Maybe they'll spy in the front yard. Is that what you're worried about? Right? So I can make the same argument here. Is like, what's the actual negative downside to it? Right? You know, so yeah, it's just kind of stupid.
Have that. It's like, I don't think we do. I don't think it's necessary. And if we got rid of it, like, who cares? You know, it seems like it would just be a massive net positive for every human being if that was just done
Well, except the whores, then they'd have no money.
away with altogether. And it's like, what the systems that come in too, though, for policing it are prone to corruption. So you got to be cautious about it.
Right.
Right? You got to be cautious about it.
Also, I just don't like people telling people what to do, even if they shouldn't be doing it. I don't like it.
Bro, that's such a stupid mentality, bro. That's such a dumb mentality, bro.
I mean, to an
think-
extent, though, right? Like, if they're heroin addicts, you're going to be like, nah, we got to.
Well, even that, like, I don't think you should be a heroin addict, but I don't think I should be the one to tell you not to do heroin.
Okay, so who should be the one? Brother, how do you have children, Joe? Joe, do you tell your children what to do? When your kid does something that you think is wrong, do you tell them, hey, don't do that? Or do you go, you know what? Go ahead. Go stab that guy. It's fine. Hey, Billy, go stab that guy. You know, it's not my place to tell you that, right? It's like, this guy is such a fucking drugged out hippie. It's like, you just don't believe in authority at all. Like, there's no authority or hierarchy at all. Like, there's not like, you know, moral hierarchy or, you know, things that like, you know, hey, you shouldn't do this. And, you know, so like, what if like, you know, if God tells you to do something, you don't like, I thought you were, wasn't he trying to like come around saying he was like starting to believe in Christianity now? So it's like, okay, so you don't believe when God tells you to do something, you should do it. You don't believe when Jesus Christ tells you to do something, you should do it, Joe. I don't think he should be able to tell me what to do. I just, you know, everybody should be able to do whatever they want. And like, yeah, that's literally what we do, brother. That's what our society is structured around, is you all can do whatever the fuck you want and nobody has any right to tell you otherwise. As long as it's not illegal or like causes harm to somebody, you can go be whatever degenerate you want to be in society and nobody can say anything to you. Like, that's retarded. That's how we got to this point. That's how we got to this like degenerative fucking decadent fucking state that we're in, brother. What a fucking stupid train of thought. Yeah, you know, brother, you've OD'd 16 times on the side of the road. I have to keep using Narcan on your ass. You should probably stop, but I'm not going to tell you to stop doing fentanyl, man. Just you keep doing your fent. You keep doing it, brother. It's not my job to tell you to stop doing that. You know, it's not my job to try to help you better yourself. You know, just go fuck up your life on your own over there. Just, you know what I'm saying? It's so fucking stupid. What a dumb mentality, brother.
I don't, because I think it's a slippery slope, and then it's
Oh my God! Don't.
don't smoke cigarettes, and then it's
How do you get the don't smoke cigarettes from don't do crack, Joe Rogan? How do we go from don't do crack, because crack is literally bad for you scientifically, like every evidence shows that crack is not good for you, it leads to terrible outcomes. How does that go into, well, we should ban cigarettes? Like, how the fuck do you get there? Where is the logic to get you there?
because cigarettes are killing you,
Mhm.
and then
Okay. You know what? You know what also kills you, Joe? Time. Fuck time, guys. You know, we should ban time too. Fucking time, man. It ages you, brother. It ages you. And like, I just don't agree with it.
And it's don't drink whiskey because you could be a drunk driver and kill a family of 5. Like, it's all the same shit. It's like,
But
I
do you
don't-
think that all those have?
No, it's not this. It's not the same shit, brother. It's not the same shit. Smoking cigarettes is not the same as being a crackhead, Joe Rogan. It's not the same, dude. Sometimes this guy says shit that's fucking like I really hope like Andrew must be like really trying to like hold himself back from just being like, what the fuck are you saying? Like brother, how do you equate smoking crack to smoking cigarettes? Why do you assume that if you banned like narcotics, like actual hard drugs, that's going to lead to banning cigarettes? Like, it's not remotely the same.
Have kind of the same impact on society ultimately?
well, the heroin thing is a weird one because
Oh my God. Please tell me he's not going to go in. Please tell me he's not going to go into some fucking drugged out Joe Rogan hippie tirade about, well, actually, heroin has some positive benefits, and it's been shown to stimulate your cortical cortex nootropic number 95 in your brain by some niche scientific paper that I read on fucking Google search. And I think, you know, maybe people just need to take that drug and it'll help them. Yeah, brother, maybe you should lay off the shrooms and the DMT. Like, I think it's kind of starting to rot your brain a little bit. When you can't tell, like, the difference between smoking crack and smoking cigarettes, I think you've been doing a little too many drugs yourself, Joe.
Because like the argument I make would be like the incest argument. It'd be like, look,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Joe's been kind of speaking like very libertarian for like the last 20 minutes. So now Andrew's going to hit the libertarian with the incest argument. It always works every time.
that's outlawed for a good reason. But what if you have two people who are totally sterile? Like they can't have kids, right? What's the moral argument that can be
Right.
made? And people are like, well, I can't really make a moral
just
argument. with
gross.
that. It's just gross.
You're fucking your
It's
sister,
ju- yeah,
bro.
you just yeah. What are you doing? It's just gross. And it's like, well, but can we legislate off of it's just gross? And
Right,
the
right.
kind of the libertarian mindset is, no, we can't. And I think, yeah, we can. I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay about. I remember debating with
But what
Dave
would you
Smith
do?
about this stuff.
What would you do? Would you arrest some guy and his sister if you found out they were boning each
Sure.
other?
Why not?
Arrest them?
Why not?
Yeah, if you're going to have incest laws on the books and you're going to actually make that illegal, that, you know, incestuous relationships between like your first, second cousin, maybe even third cousin and your sister and your like closest family. Yeah, if you're going to put that law in the books, and it makes sense to do that, by the way, there's a lot of genetic reasons to do that and health reasons. The church basically enforced a lot of that. If you're going to do that, then yeah, enforce it. Even if they're two sterile people, you enforce the laws, right? If you want to be like an actual like proper society, yes.
Like, how would deterring that society wide ever be a bad idea?
You don't make exceptions. You made an exception for gay marriage, and then look where we got, right? You know, it's like you don't make exceptions, right? You have a rule, you enforce the rule. It is what it is.
I don't think it is. However, it's technically a victimless crime, especially under the circumstances that you described.
It's not victimless. It's not, right? Because it perpetuates a thing, right? It's like, because then what happens is some leftist goes and makes a television show about this brother and sister who are sterile fucking each other and go, see guys, they really do love each other. Real love can happen between a brother and a sister. You could have this too. The government's trying to hold this back from all of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it is actually a detriment to society, right? Because some idiot's going to then go and take it and use that as an example to justify, you know, legalizing incest, right?
Whereas they're both
They'll
sterile.
make like an argument of like, look, it's true love. They really do love each other. They're not hurting anybody.
I do not
Kind of like they made the same argument with gay people.
think you should be able to do that.
No.
But I don't think you should do that, I should say.
Yeah.
Didn't you just say you don't like when people tell you what you should and shouldn't do? Oh yeah, I know. He's trying to like word it, or he's trying to do the libertarian thing where like he doesn't actually say like, oh, you shouldn't do that. He's like, well, I don't think you should do that, but I'm not gonna stop you from fucking your sister.
But in the case of Cersei and what's his face? what's the other dude's name in Game
Brother, please don't please don't just make the argument that I just made where I said like some leftist is gonna take that and be like, look, it's true love, guys. Look, it's true love. Like, please don't do this, bro. I know it's what he's literally about to do it. Please don't do it, Joe.
of Thrones? The brother and sister?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It really seemed
Yeah.
like they were in love, dude.
Sure.
No, stop. Why? Why would you, brother? Like, look at Andrew's face, bro. He's wincing. He's like, why would you make that argument?
They really
And
seemed
but
like
they
they were
had
in love.
kids. They had like incest babies, right? Who went on.
Yeah, look how that worked out. They went on to rule the kingdom and fucking crashed the whole thing into the ground.
kingdoms, and they were all
The
like
psycho.
Joffrey.
Joffrey's and
Probably didn't want the incest baby in charge
No,
of
you
the
don't.
kingdom. It didn't
And
work
then the-
out so well.
Didn't work out for England for a couple of years either. Few generations either.
other incest baby who was in charge of the kingdom. He jumped off the roof.
True.
Remember
And
when-
wasn't Jon Snow technically doing incest as well with the Queen of
Kind
Dragons?
of,
Like, weren't they
kind of.
both?
Yeah, I forget. Isn't she like his aunt or something? I don't remember.
Yeah.
They're related.
Yeah.
They're in the basket,
They were pretty.
right?
yeah.
Something.
Yeah, there
like
was a lot of
half
there
a
was a lot of
sister or
incest
something
in the
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
There's a lot of incest in Game of Thrones. Almost like George R. R. Martin is a disgusting old pervert.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
it-
yeah.
But the other argument there that's interesting is it's like, okay, that's fair enough. It's a victimless crime, but you can just kind of extend that. Like, okay, well then why can't a guy have 5 wives? Why can't he have 20? Why can't 20 gay men all get married and adopt one child?
Yeah, it's victimless crime, guy.
Yeah.
It's like
It's almost like there's things that are just like straight bad for society, and like you inherently know these things because God instilled them in you, and it's like it's pretty obvious to know right from wrong. Like everybody actually knows. You're just pretending you don't know. I make this argument all the time, like that people just feign ignorance. Like it's like no, you know what you're doing is wrong, and you know that thing is wrong, but you do it anyway, and then you make excuses for yourself. Like you know right and wrong. It's instilled to you by your creator. Everybody knows it. It's like you pretend like you don't.
doesn't the slippery slope kind of go the other way a little bit too?
Yeah, it does. It does go the other way, and the multiple wives.
Oh, this is why slippery slope is not like it's not used in debates. Like you can't. It's not actual argumentation. You can't use it.
thing. Didn't they just pass
'Cause it's retarded.
something like that in Toronto? Wasn't that in Ontario where they're allowing polygamy now because they have so many Islamic people living there that think that you should be allowed to have?
Well, remember there was big pushes for that in Utah because of the
Oh,
Mormon
yeah.
Mormons.
That's
Oh,
why Mitt
oh, we should talk about Mormons. Hell yeah.
His family moved to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, really?
Oh yeah,
It was due. It was
You
due to the
didn't know
multiple
that?
wives. I didn't know that it was due to the multiple wives.
Well, not specifically, but that sect of Mormonism fled the United States when they passed polygamy laws.
Of course.
And I think there was probably just a broader crackdown on this perceived new cult. They thought of it as a cult. Now it's established religion
Because it is a cult, but okay.
of really nice people that knock on your door.
Yeah,
They drive
I
around
must.
bicycles.
I must
It's
admit,
also one of the richest religions too.
I have debated many Mormons, and they're just the nicest.
The nicest people.
The nicest people.
It's the best cult.
And it makes me. It's upsetting because I'm like, look. I'm about to expose that your prophet was totally fake, and I'm trying to get people into the debate, and they just end up being like the nicest people. And I
True.
go, oh man.
True.
So having multiple wives or spouses is illegal in Canada under Section 293 polygamy and Section 290 bigamy. What is bigamy?
Is that the other way? Is bigamy the other way? So
No.
polygamy is the man with multiple.
Do you know what it is, Jamie? Do you know what bigamy is? You ever heard of it? I don't even think I've ever seen that written. The act of marrying
Oh,
one
still
person while
legally
still legally
married.
married. Oh, okay. Oh, a bigamist, right? What?
Four people at once in somewhere or another recently, like this year.
In America?
In Canada, see, Canada.
He was married to 4 women at once?
Multiple wives, married, so he got multiple marriage licenses and should not have been given them or something.
Oh, well, he doesn't look Muslim. That guy looks like he's just a regular Christian guy. Oh, well, he does look Muslim.
I don't know if it has anything
He might not be, though. He might just be a baller.
It could be a Muslim.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go back to that case in Canada, though. Isn't there something where they're trying to pass it in Toronto?
I don't think so. I mean, I typed in.
And I'm like, God, who are they mad at now? Oh, God.
Can I ask you a
Get outta here.
question?
Yeah, sure.
If you went into X tomorrow, let's say, and there was an option there where you could select it and it's like U.S. accounts only. That's all you could see. Do you think that?
Yeah, where is that? I thought he was adding that shit. Like, where's my U.S. accounts only button?
90% of the traffic for people would go away.
A giant percentage.
Huge percentage,
Huge
right?
percentage is people being manipulated into arguments. It is a
By
strategy.
foreign assets,
By
right?
foreign assets.
Yeah.
It is a strategy. It is real. This is not tinfoil hat shit. We brought this up multiple times on the podcast, but I'll bring it up again just for the sake of this. There was an FBI analyst who took a look at Twitter when Elon was buying it, and he estimated that 80% of the traffic is bots.
This doesn't surprise me. Remember, YouTube did an internal audit. And when they did their internal audit, this was a few years back, and when Susan still ran it, I believe, they did an internal audit and found out that most of the people that they had on YouTube were bots. and they did a great purge.
Wow.
Right? That's
Yep. So not only did they do a bot purge, but now they're doing an AI purge where like a lot of these channels, so what they're finding is a lot of these channels. So like the reason I think Nylaf's channel got hit, by the way, is because his not only are his statistics like really kind of sketchy. No offense, Nylaf, but they are. You know they're sketchy. Like you have a lot of subs, but you have like very little traffic. And then it's like your videos are all kind of made the same way. Like your reaction stuff was all kind of the same. Like it was all cut the same. And then because you're not a person on screen, because you're a VTuber, they assume because they were cracking down on is they were cracking down. What people were doing is people are mass creating like thousands and thousands of like AI accounts where like an AI like anime tuber basically runs the whole thing and it's automated, and they automate it through Claude and they do all this shit, and they basically just like fucking farm themselves in these giant like YouTube AI farms, and they were basically cracking down on that, and a lot of people got hit kind of as collateral, and like I'm pretty sure that's why Nylaf actually got hit the way he did, is because they thought he was one of these AI channels, right? It wasn't for the AI content that he makes himself. That's why the charge was specifically inauthenticity, because they thought he wasn't a real person and he was an AI. They thought the account was being run by an AI, right? So that's what they were cracking down on, and what they're still cracking down on. That's why a lot of those channels are getting struck. A lot of those channels deserve to be struck, by the way. Like people were defending people that like turned out to be like running these AI bot farms. Like a lot of these guys that you guys are defending on Twitter, by the way, that I told you guys not to defend, because like I took one look at their channels and I saw that things did not look right. They were very sketch, and it's like, yeah, a lot of these guys got nuked because like they were running like basically automated AI channels. Like they were automating their channels. Like, so yeah, they should have got struck, and they did. So yes.
where that whole dead internet theory and all that really started to pick up traction. Was that, hey, look, a lot of this stuff is bots, foreign accounts, people who are manipulating U.S. Elections. They're manipulating various U.S. interests, and this is happening all over the place.
Yeah.
Right now, you have progressives who are funded by ActBlue, right? And I've proven this. We traced all their money. It's progressives funded by ActBlue who are pushing the same narrative that like Candace Owens and others are pushing on the idea of Charlie Kirk's death and the conspiracy around that. So you have
they're absolutely being paid to push.
Yeah, bro, the Charlie Kirk conspiracy stuff is so fucking retarded. Like Candace's evidence is always like, oh, believe me, bro. It's like, it's so obvious that she's fucking like co-opted by somebody at this point. Like she's an op. The whole thing is just fucking stupid. Like I don't know why it's so unbelievable that like the Tyler Robinson got up on a rooftop and shot him. Like it's not unbelievable at all. It all makes sense. It all checks out. It's just stupid argumentation. Hang on.
This.
Well, their stated mission, this particular progressive group, their stated mission was to take down TPUSA. I'll tell you a story. This is the tale of all tales.
Okay.
So Charlie Kirk has this huge outreach program that's happening through TPUSA on these college campuses. He's got viral clip after viral clip after viral clip. They are going wild. He's going campus to campus. He's doing his thing. He's being dogged by a progressive organization. This progressive organization shows up at almost all of these TPUSA events
Yes.
with the stated mission of trying to create a counter movement to what TPUSA is doing. Now, the woman who heads this particular organization received millions of dollars from ActBlue and other progressive organizations for this stated mission. That same woman right this second works with other...
Yeah, works for Twitch, by the way. What's funny is they blew through all that money. So ActBlue was giving them millions of dollars, and these fucking idiots were like, they were going and staying at like fucking $100,000 hotels constantly and shit. And they blew through millions of dollars in like 2 weeks, and then they couldn't finish the tour. So they were supposed to be like following him around on every single stop. They only got like, I think they only got like a quarter of the way through or some shit, and they ran out of money because they all fucking spent all the millions of dollars they were getting from all these fucking NGOs.
Op X accounts to push the messaging that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by his own TPUSA insiders in order to push that narrative forward, because the stated goal still from that organization is to destroy TPUSA.
So how do we know that they've done this? Are there emails that have been found? Like
Well, the stated goal of this particular person
is to take down
TPUSA.
Right.
He's very open about that. And then the way that you know that they are talking to these other accounts is because they do it publicly. Those public accounts will talk to this account, right? Very openly. They reaffirm each other's posts. They say, wow, that's real interesting, this kind of thing. All affirming that same conspiracy that TPUSA was the ones who actually set up and murdered Charlie Kirk. and at millions of dollars. And
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking retarded. Yeah, they murdered their own CEO that built them up to where they were, and he's literally like the figurehead. I mean, TPUSA is gonna struggle in the next couple of years to even stay relevant because, I mean, Charlie was TPUSA, so like without Charlie, like who the fuck cares about TPUSA? I haven't even seen a peep at a TPUSA or even watched a TPUSA video in like fucking months since Charlie died. Like honestly, I don't give a fuck. Like people watched for Charlie, they didn't watch for the organization. The organization was just something Charlie created to support himself.
ActBlue funding going towards this. No joke. Anybody can look it up right now. The organization's called Unfuck America.
So how did they think that his organization did this? That they convinced Tyler Robinson to do it, or did they think someone else
I don't
did
think
it?
that the progressive organization does believe that TPUSA did this. I think that what they want to do.
Oh no, I
is,
understand that.
yeah.
But I mean, what are they trying to say?
Oh, well, here's what the theory is. So take Ian Carroll. Within 24 hours after Kirk's death, blames Israel. Within 24 hours, he says, Israel killed Kirk. That was his tweet, went mega viral. What the conspiracy is on that side is that Israel, along with Erica Kirk and TPUSA insiders, got together with elements of the U.S. government to murder Charlie Kirk because he was going to leave the, quote, pro-Israel cause.
Yeah. Fucking retarded. Now, if you told me that the US government assassinated him because he was anti-Iran war, and he's literally the one who talked to President Trump out of doing it in the first place, right? Like Trump even credited him. Like he talked to him and he talked to Tucker, and both of them helped push him away from engaging further into like the first time we fucking bombed Iran into like perpetuating the war. Now, if you tried to tell me that like, hey, some bad actors in the fucking, covert ops side of the government decided to fucking nix this guy because he was like, hey, we want our war and this guy's preventing it, I would believe that more than like, oh, the Jews did it. Like,
That's what the theory is.
Right.
And that he was either murdered, some of them say with a microphone exploding, some of them say with there was a second shooter, and Robinson's a patsy. It all depends on which theorist you're talking to. But they all work together in the same unison from a single camp, which is interesting.
Well, a lot of people had takes on the shooting, and the microphone one was the weirdest one to me.
Yeah,
it's
it made
weird
no-
because,
made no fucking
like,
sense.
Yeah, the shirt is moving, but also a bullet is going like how many feet per second, whizzing through the air? Like, do you
It splits
understand?
air.
Yeah,
So where's the
people,
air gonna go?
people don't understand that.
You know what got me, though? So I
What?
went back and looked, because they say that it's the same explosive, which was used inside the Israeli pagers. Now, that was very real. Israel
That's-
sent these
but that
pagers
would-
all Israeli. If
It has some sort of a different kind of propellant.
No,
but then
they-
again,
Happens again here.
watch the smoke.
Over here.
See all that smoke?
oh, let me see that again.
Watch all
He was
the
just chilling, and boom,
Look at all
it
that
blew up
smoke.
in his bag though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of them like they didn't die. They go to the hospital and they're just like hurt.
Probably because they had it in their bag or
I
something.
found one other video here.
Or these guys are gonna be carrying around like armored satchels.
Well, yeah, they did like a couple of them were on bikes and stuff when it happened. Like, that got
Oh.
fucked up.
Yeah, he got messed up real bad.
there's some- or they give you the illusion they did by blurring out his head.
That's the other part. I mean, not that these are fake, but yes, only 11 were killed by the pagers.
Still pretty slick.
That was extremely slick. I mean,
slick. I mean, crazy. They sent them off to them years ago.
that's some CIA shit, man. Like,
They're
that's some deep
that's
state.
Mossad shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's probably where the CIA learned it. But that's an explosion, right? And yeah, you see smoke. But is there some kind of a propellant that would be lethal from a short distance with some sort of a projectile?
It's possible.
But it would also like have to be like, how are you aiming it? You're not even aiming it. It's sitting up here, right? So it's sitting here and he's doing all this and moving around. Like it might take his ear off. It might whiz to the side and shoot somebody else if he leans over.
Sure.
Unless they planned exactly when it's going to go off and it's pointing towards his neck. Like,
Which,
no.
yeah,
It seems like a gunshot wound. It's just hard to imagine that it's a 30-06. That's my issue with it. I look at it and I've seen.
why would it be hard to imagine? It hit his bone, bro. It hit the part of his body with the dentist bone, and it fucking shattered and it probably in his body. I'm pretty sure the autopsy report even said like he had shrapnel in his chest. So like yeah, the bullet went in, it hit a bone, it probably went down, tore up his insides and probably hit another bone, then it fucking probably splattered all over his fucking body. Like the inside of his body was probably fucking full of holes. Right, the guy was probably like fucking pincushion from the inside. So yeah, no, it's the wound is perfectly fine for a 30-06, man. The U.S. government has been using that round since fucking World War I, and like every corroborated report basically coincides like, hey, this is normal.
Takes from guys that are gun experts, and they have a problem with it too. The thing about guns though is weird stuff happens when you shoot bones. Like it is possible that you wouldn't get a pass through, depending on how it squared the spinal column, depending on how it hit, and depending on what kind of bullet it is. I forget the
These
type.
are 150 grain core lock
Core
soft
locks,
tips.
that's right.
And they're soft tip.
Right,
So they
which
only have enough of a
expands.
jacket to keep the bullet together.
Right. The idea is it expands inside the body, causing massive trauma.
Right.
Right.
Which
So
is why I use them for hunting, and probably you have to.
yeah. No, I haven't used that particular round,
Gotcha.
but it just seems like it's a lot of energy
It is.
coming towards your neck. It's hard to believe that it wouldn't blow a hole through the neck and leave a big fucking just take a chunk out. That it
No, it went into his neck, and then blew a hole inside of his body. like from what I remember from the autopsy reports is like the inside of his body was like cavitated. It was like a miracle he even like was alive for as long as he was, essentially, because like the inside of his body exploded.
would just make a round hole. But that's beside the point. there's other weird stuff with like the video. I don't like. There's a lot of people saying that.
In fact, if it was a pass through, homie would have lived. Actually, like if this guy was a better shot and like it didn't hit his spine and didn't hit bone, like homie actually probably would have lived that wound. To be honest with you, it's the fact that the bullet hit his bone and basically went down into his chest and kind of like shrapneled. That's literally what killed him. Like there was no saving him at that point. If he had a pass through wound from the bullet, it actually would have probably saved his life.
Video
unironically
is super clear. They're seeing 4K footage. It's clearly Tyler Robinson on the roof. No, it's not.
Jack Prosovic and Vinny Johnson.
That's crazy that they said that. That is not clear. That is a blurry figure. You could barely ascertain as to whether or not there's a recoil when someone takes a shot. It does seem like the guy on the roof gets in a prone position, and it looks like something that might be a rifle, right? It's blurry as fuck.
It also does look like there's kickback on the right leg.
It looks like there might be some recoil. It's hard, but it's not clear. Like for them to say it's crystal clear, it's Tyler Robinson, it's on the roof. Like,
well, it's interesting. When Prosovic came out and said that Vinny Johnson, there was another guy who was there who I know. His name's Kai Schwimmer. And Kai put out a tweet. He said, look, they might have sensationalized this just a bit. Okay. He said, but the video that we did see in the courtroom was actually much clearer.
Oh, okay.
So I DM'd him, and I DM'd Jack Prosovic. And I DM'd, well, I couldn't get hold of Vinny, but I DM'd Jack Prosovic, and I said, just be straight with me. Like, did you try to over-sensationalize this thing for clicks? Like, what's the deal? He said, no, listen, the footage we did see inside the courtroom was actually a lot clearer than anything that the public has seen so far. That's their claim. Kai Schwimmer, now I wouldn't just take Prosovic as word, but Kai Schwimmer, he's a Mormon, Mormon kid, not very prone to tall tales. In fact, he was the first one who came out and said, look, I was there, and you're kind of over-sensationalizing it. It is a lot clearer, but it's not showing everything that you're claiming it's showing.
So it's clearer, but it's not clear enough. It's not like 4K, close up, clearly in his face. The other thing that was weird was the guy in the crowd that jumped up and said, I killed him. That's weird. And that guy, wasn't he at...
yeah, that guy's everywhere, though. What's up, Digger? Also, there were some files related to the CIA did it. I doubt it.
The Boston bombing as
well.
well.
I mean, they could have. I don't know, bro. Who cares? But like, if our own government did it, our own government had every reason to kill Charlie. To be honest, like, Charlie was in the president's ear. The president listened to Charlie. People really downplayed like how much influence that like Charlie Kirk had over the president of the United States. He had a lot of influence over the guy. And it wouldn't surprise me if like I said, I'm more prone to believe that like, bad actors inside like the intelligence agencies wanted him dead so they could get their war with Iran because he was one of the biggest proponents to stop it.
So he's a professional agitator who's been at tons and tons of these events. Later, he's found, I believe, with kitty porn, right?
Because I mean, you have the CIA and the FBI like constantly gassing Trump up constantly that like, oh, Iran was trying to kill you. Oh, those assassins, they were Iran. By the way, all those assassins were very clearly like plants from fucking BlackRock and other CIA operations. Like it was clearly like our own government was trying to kill Trump both times. By the way, like it's super obvious. These guys work for BlackRock. Like everything about them is sketch. Everything's been cleaned up. You're not allowed to know anything about them. Their whole history's been erased. Like it's like, bro, that's not Iran. Like you're really like overestimating Iran's capabilities. Like on the world stage, by the way. Like so it's like. It's like no, they're very clearly gassing him up and keep telling him things like, oh, it was Iran, it was Iranian agents, sir, it was Iranian agents, right?
Well,
they've been doing that for a while.
That's the kind of guy, though, right?
Yeah.
And so he's been at tons of events agitating, and he is well known to law enforcement for doing this. So that's kind of what they're stating for him. If you're looking at this from a broad view, if you're looking at the conspiracy side versus what they call the FedSlop side, let's say, it makes sense for them to say, hey, wait a second, that's really weird. This guy jumps up and says, I did it. Right? That makes sense. He's a patsy distraction, something like this. Take a look into the guy.
Right.
And the guy is a lunatic who's been at many of these events.
Yeah, he's at like every event. He does this shit all the time.
Both things can be true. Like MK Ultra is real. Also, that guy might just been a cuckoo who's in the crowd who took advantage of a situation because he's literally insane and he's into kitty porn.
Yeah, but well, there's no doubt. One of the biggest kind of false narratives that comes out of this, and when I do debates, one of the things I'm trying to structure around is like, I know that we're coming in with a narrative, but I need to understand yours, and you need to understand mine so we can get somewhere towards what the truth is here, right? Because you're going to have a frame of which you're viewing the world, a worldview, and so am I. And so everybody has a worldview. We have to figure each other's out to get somewhere. Here with this, one of the most disturbing aspects of it is the people who promote this actually don't want their worldview or their positions to be examined. They only want to examine the evidence from the state. It's like that would be fine, I think, if it was the case that you made no claims past that.
Right.
So if you just only say, hey, I'm not really sure what happened, and I want to really kind of review the evidence, and that's that, I don't really have a problem with that. I think that's probably healthy.
Yeah. If you say like, well, I don't really know what's going on, I had questions, that's fine. But the problem is that's not what they say. They say, well, Israel did it. Oh, this guy did it. Oh, this guy did it. Okay, well then I have to like examine your worldview, right? We have to figure out how the fuck you got to that point.
The issue that I run into is when people make
So it's why the Socratic method still works, like even today, right? It's like most people do not know, like they don't know why they believe a thing that they believe. Like they don't. If you actually question them, this is why people get really mad when you question them on these things. Socrates was a perfect example of this when he went around to people and asked them really basic questions. Hey, why do you believe that? Oh, you don't know? oh, you're getting mad? Oh, you're punching me now? Like, you're throwing stuff at me because you're upset that I questioned why you believe something? Like, you can't explain to me why you rationally believe something? Like, it's just so funny.
Claims past that. Oh, it was an exploding, exploding mic.
Right.
It was 2 different shooters. It was a folding rifle. It was the 30-06 couldn't do this, even though the U.S. Army, remember, the 30-06 used in the M1 Garand was used in World War II, and then it was used in Korea. Before that, we had the 03 Springfield. It was used.
Oh, yeah, true. Not World War One, World War Two. Yeah, I don't think it. Yeah, I think they made the bullet in World War Two.
in World War One, World War II, and again in Korea. The U.S. Army has
They
studied.
used it in Vietnam too. I think Springfields were still issued by special forces. So
30-06 entry wounds in depth and produced many manuals on it explaining how cavitation works with 30-06 and that the bullet doesn't always penetrate. And that's with full metal jacket rounds that are designed for maximum penetration, not 150 grain core lock coming out of an antique rifle, essentially. It could easily split up very quickly. And that's why they ended up pulling fragments out of Charlie. It wouldn't surprise me if when we have all the data from the coroner report that he has tons of shards all throughout his chest, all throughout his entire, because they were saying that there's trauma inside the chest, which would.
yeah, from what I understand of reports, is like basically it came in and it basically hit his back of his spine and his neck. And if you don't know, your spine is really fucking tough, by the way, because it literally is the control center of your entire body. And it basically like, shot down and splintered off like into his rib cage and basically like shrapneled his entire chest. That's why he couldn't talk, right? Like people think, oh, well, you got shot in the neck, so he can't talk. No, you can still talk when you get shot in the neck. They're like your vocal stuff is all in here, right? So it's like that's not why he couldn't talk or say anything, right? He was literally choking on blood. Not because of the neck wound. You're not going to choke on blood because of that wound on the side of your neck. He's choking on blood because his chest cavity was literally full of shrapnel and torn apart.
Makes sense if the bullet split up here,
Right.
it would create all sorts of fragments down in the chest.
Right. That is an important distinction about the type of bullet.
Huge distinction. The
Yeah.
FMJ especially, because that's what the Army is using is FMJ ball ammunition. It's cheap to produce, right? So they're using it in all these different wars. And the amount of people shot with that caliber between World War I, II, and Korea is astronomical. They didn't use the 30-06 in Vietnam in limited capacity, especially the 03 Springfield. It was still in service by special forces.
Wow.
So the question becomes like, the U.S. Army has studied this in depth, and I went back and I pulled all their manuals, and I've even put them out, and several people have done the exact same thing and put them out explaining how cavitation works. And they're saying, look, the energy dissipation, the second it hits a human body, it dissipates very, very, very.
Yeah, you gotta remember that's with military grade ammunition. That's with full metal jacket, and that's with like military grade like hardware, like actual like military, grade weaponry. This kid was using an antique rifle that wasn't even really like up to snuff for shooting, and he's using like shitty fucking like crappy civilian ammunition. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense.
very quickly with the resistance. So it doesn't always go through. Now, oftentimes it does with the FMJ, but even then, it didn't always go through. So, it's a well-studied phenomenon. Another one would be Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King gets hit through the jaw, ends up here. Well,
Yep.
it's just going to blow through all bone. Why did it stop in him? Well, it's because the second it has impact, it begins to slow down, and then it impacts something else, slows down even more. So it's totally possible that this guy was.
Yeah, after the first impact, a bullet basically loses like almost everything. Like people pass through on bullets like is not really that common. Like it depends on where you shoot people. I mean, Bone almost always stops bullets like all the time.
Hit with a 30-06. I don't know why that would be in the realm of impossibility. We have enough data on the ammo to know that, yeah, it's very possible this happened.
It is definitely possible. There's a lot of people that think that the sound was not. They think the sound indicated that it was a closer shot than where it was.
What?
And I've heard a lot of people say, well, there's also an issue with it being supersonic ammo. So you're getting two sounds. You're getting a sound of the bullet actually breaking the air. You're also getting the sound of the rifle going off. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's difficult there when you're making the judgments on the sound because there are people who run experiments saying right down to the second this meets up with a shot placement, and there's people who say no, that experiment's bogus due to the controls for this or that. The problem is that most of these people don't have any expertise in this arena at all.
They're just yapping.
And they're just exactly.
Yeah.
They're just trying to, and I get it. You're trying to figure it out. I understand.
The Israel thing, there was some text messages back and forth where Charlie was talking about getting out of the Israel business, and there was this position that he had where he did.
Okay, so I mean, most right wing people are starting to kind of take like anti-Israel stances. I mean, look at Tucker and his whole group. Because like you can only ignore the evidence for so long that like, hey, these guys are kind of bad actors. Like historically speaking and current events, like these guys were kind of bad actors. Maybe we should stop like, fucking with them as much as we do. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. Like how much more evidence do you need of that? Like, so yeah, it's not surprising a very smart person who's very politically and culturally aware, like Charlie, was like, hey, I don't know about this group, man. They're kind of like, they're threatening me. They're telling me what to do. They're throwing their money in my face, and they're kind of, there's good evidence that like, hey, they're kind of doing bad things. Maybe I don't want to fuck with them anymore. It's a perfectly logical reasoning take to have.
Did not want us to go to war with Iran.
All true.
And he had a lot of influence. And then there was also that.
He had the most influence. He literally called the president and got him to step down. He said it himself on his podcast, and then the president of the United States also said, I talked to Charlie, and Charlie kind of talked me off the ledge. Yes, like he had more influence than almost anybody. In fact, that's a good reason of why the government would take him out. Yeah.
Israel supposedly had offered him $150 million to be more pro-Israel.
That is the problem that we've run into. Is like I've never been able to verify that was the case. And
Nobody
where's
can
that
verify
coming
that,
from?
but I
I mean,
wouldn't
basically
doubt
goes
it.
from his
Like,
camp without
I'm
even
sure
being
they
substantiated.
threw
So
money
saying
at him,
that
and he
the
said
president-
no.
What's interesting about this is like it is indeed true. It does appear that Charlie Kirk was extremely pissed off at some of his donors because they were trying to control who he was platforming. They were upset that he had platformed Tucker Carlson. They were upset that he had platformed Candace Owens. They were upset, and why? Well, it's because Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, they were very anti, or at least had a somewhat anti-Israel message at the time. Carlson, I think, a bit more than Candace, or maybe it could be the reverse. But I don't think that matters too much. The donors were pissed off. Many of them were pro-Israel, and some of these donors were applying pressure. And so Kirk was lamenting inside of his text messages about this pressure he was experiencing from some of his donors about who he could or couldn't platform. And so as a negotiating piece, he said, well, I'll leave the pro-Israeli cause if you're going to try to tell me who I can and can't platform. And that was kind of what his position was. Now that seems like platforming. I don't know, even on Twitch politics or YouTube politics with smaller channels, smaller streamers, they argue about platforming all the time, responsible platforming. Is it responsible for you to platform this guy? Is it responsible for you to platform this terrorist? And they're endlessly fighting about it. So this actually doesn't surprise me a bit that these guys are fighting over.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like that's just like straight out Jew behavior on both sides of the spectrum, trying to fucking police and follow police and fucking control like who can talk and who can't talk. Like Jesus Christ, man, it's crazy. It's weird. It's weird how that works, guys. On both sides, they both fucking try to censor and fucking control who gets to speak and who doesn't.
Who you can or can't platform. If you're giving your money to an NGO for the purpose of getting a pro cause, and that NGO is saying, wait a second, I'm going to platform people who are against your cause, of course the donor's going to get pissed.
Yeah, the platforming thing I think is just gatekeeping. If you're upset that someone is having a conversation or a debate with someone that you don't agree with, that you're supposed to hear that person's perspective. You're supposed to hear them challenged. You're supposed to hear them allowed to flesh out the full point of view, not like in weird clip form. But go ahead, tell me what you really think, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's healthy. It's supposed to be what we do.
You're basically reciting what Kirk's position was.
Yes, and what he was always really good at. Unfortunately, there's a few clips. There's the clips thing with Charlie, where he's saying things and people think it's racist. He's saying things, and it's like you have to understand the context of what he was saying. And I've had conversations with black friends who think like he was saying, if I see a black pilot on a plane, I get worried. Is he qualified? The reason why
I do.
he's saying that is because there's specific laws that were designed to hire people just based on their race and not.
Nah, bro, not even the laws, man. I fucking get weird anyway. I don't know if he stole that plane or not.
See. He wasn't saying that black people weren't competent as pilots. What he's worried is that in the rush to meet these quotas, they're going to hire people who are not competent just because they're black.
100%.
Just like if they want to hire old white guys, they can hire a bunch of old white guys who suck if they just want to fill a quota of old white guys. It just happens at this particular time he's talking about black people. And it seems like if you just look at the clip, this racist piece of shit doesn't think black people can fly a plane. And that's like the unfortunate thing about thinking out loud, right? Which is what we do. We think out loud in public. And when you think out loud in public, someone can take what you're saying and take a clip of it and completely out of context, it looks bad.
Happens to me all the time.
It happens to me all the time too, brother. Welcome.
It happens
First
to me.
time.
But I had that conversation with people about Charlie, and I'm like, I don't agree with Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk on everything. I met him once. He was a very nice guy. I met him at a gun range. I met him at Tarrant Tactical in LA. It's a place where you learn like serious gun shooting. It's where Keanu Reeves learned for John Wick and a bunch of.
Is that where all those videos are from?
Yes,
where Keanu
yes.
Reeves is going between
100%,
shotgun to three
yes.
gun and that kind of thing?
Exactly. That's where I met Charlie.
He's really good at that, by the way.
Who, Keanu? Oh, yeah.
He is really good
Oh,
at
he's
that.
fucking dedicated, man. When he was practicing, I mean, I talked to Tarrant about him. He was practicing for John Wick. I mean, he was obsessed.
Oh my god, I don't care.
Fast.
Yeah.
Fast.
Ammo bandana and put it on. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were both there at the same time.
Interesting.
Just randomly, ran into him there. Actually, anyway, very nice guy. And the point is, like, people think that he was like this mean, shitty conservative. He wasn't mean. He was very kind. And the way he would talk to people, if you see enough of these, not the clips, but enough of these conversations with people,
Who the fuck thought Charlie was a mean, angry conservative? What? Like Charlie was always like the milquetoast like grandpa. The guy has like milquetoast grandpa takes. Like he has the takes my grandparents have. Like he's literally like your grandparents like poster child for like conservative fucking groupthink. Like he's just like I've never seen Charlie be mean to anybody.
depended entirely on how the person
Like
approached him.
who
And when
actually thinks Charlie's mean? The fuck?
people were respectful and reasonable with him. He was very kind and respectful and reasonable back. I think he was a good man.
Well, even when they weren't kind and respectful to him, he was still kind and respectful back to people. I've never seen this guy actually like. I mean, he did, except with the Groiper War. That the Groiper War is a little different. He did he did get a little angsty with that one a few times.
I really do. And he was a young man, too.
He
was a young man that was getting an enormous amount of attention at a very young age, was handling it very well. It is not easy to do.
Especially, think about where he was going.
Yeah.
This guy's going into, it's like conservatives have wanted this my whole life. We've got to get into those institutions, the college institutions.
Yes.
The progressives have a stranglehold. Jordan Peterson talked a lot about this.
Well, I think Crowder did it first.
He did. He had the Change My Mind series.
Yes, and he's great at those.
Yes.
I mean, but those also, there's clips where, look, you're in these agitated environments and people are yelling at you and you're yelling back and, just get a clip of that. It's like, oh, this guy comes to harass kids. Like, you should welcome discourse. And it should be something where everybody can do peacefully. It shouldn't be where these people...
They're not kids. They're adults in college. Like, why do we like, brother? They're allowed to vote. They're allowed to join the military. They can drink. They can smoke. They have every legal right a full-grown adult has. Like, so what? You can't go challenge young adults on what they think? Like, you're not allowed to do that? It's so fucking stupid. Oh, he's going to bully kids. No, he's not going to an elementary school. He's going to a fucking college campus with 20-plus-year-old adults. Like, what?
Speak and you hit the fire alarm.
Okay, so then you agree with me. What you're saying is you agree with me that, like, 20-year-olds are not adults and that the legal age of voting should be 25 plus. And then we should also ban smoking and alcohol consumption until you're 25 plus, and a bunch of other things. Like we should raise the adult threshold for like legal age of being an adult to 25, right? You agree with me then, right? Because college kids aren't adults, according to most people. He's arguing with kids on campus. Like, you mean adults, young adults? That's crazy.
Because you don't want them speaking, and you're outside screaming, chanting, and throwing rocks at their cars. Like, that's crazy. It's bad for everybody.
Last time I talked to Steven, because he went and did a couple more of those after Kirk had died, and I said, that's dangerous as hell, man. He's like, well, I'm just going to build a bulletproof like glass square, and I'll just do it from there. Wow, right? That was his dedication to it. I like Steven. He's become a very good friend of mine over the time that I've known him. It's just that, like, right now, going on these college campuses and doing these debates where these people are coming up, they have some things to say. I mean, it's going to heighten the energy. Now, Crowder's whole thing is not to debate. He wants to sit down and just have the combo. I don't want to debate. I want to actually see if he can change my mind on this issue.
Right.
And so it's a lot calmer. But Charlie's wasn't. Charlie's was much more energy-based. It was combative, things like this, and it pissed a lot of people off. It pissed them off so bad that after he died, we did 3 weeks on TikTok, going and talking to various TikTokers and their channels who were just celebrating his death like you can't believe. They were.
Oh yeah, I watched a lot of those. I watched him for like he spent probably like 2 or 3 weeks like going into these TikTok channels, and like he'd get it out of them every time. Some of them would play the game where they'd be like, "Well, I'm not celebrating," but he did say some bad things, and then like he would always get them to eventually just come out and say it. Like, yeah, no, fuck that guy. I'm glad he's dead. Like he'd always get them to do it. You can always get these people to fucking gloat. They can't help themselves. They love gloating. Like, you can always get it out of them. It's why you never really have to, you never have to really chase after the truth too hard. Like, it eventually comes out, right? I mean, even look at my scenario, brother. Like, all these fucking idiots that like perpetuated a lie and got on board with it for their own like benefits and their own fucking their own self delusions that they had. Like, it all, like, I don't even have to do nothing, and like a month later they all just like admit like, oh yeah, we were propping up bullshit, and yeah, we were involved the whole time. Like, it all comes out. It's just like
giddy. These leftists were jumping up and down. I'd go into their TikTok
they were.
spaces and say,
It was pretty
Charlie Sands
disgusting.
dead. It's the best thing that ever happened to the country. Tyler Robinson's a hero. They said this stuff to me live.
Yeah, they did. I watched
It
it.
was bad, and it was weeks of it that we went and exposed these various TikTokers doing that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people online celebrating, and it's just disturbing, weird to watch that you would encourage that kind of gun violence. Like, when is the left encouraging gun violence? That seems so insane. Just because you got a hold of some clips, and I'm telling you, you didn't get the full understanding of who this guy was and who he could be. Again, he's 28 years old. Who knows who he's going to be in 20 years? Like, he's a nice guy. He was a reasonable guy. Like,
He was 28. I thought he was 30. Oh, I'm sure.
Celebrating that guy's death, what you're going to do is you're going to make more monsters. You're going to make more people that think if you didn't like that guy, well, then fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he was the milquetoast grandpa. Like, you killed the guy that wanted to talk to you. You killed the guy that actually wanted to listen to you and try to have like ethical discourse with you. The rest of us don't. Like, I'm well beyond talking to leftists. I don't even engage with them. It's a complete waste of my time. There's nothing to gain out of it. This is my criticism of a lot of people on the right too that like drive me insane. Like why, if you're supposed to be some based right-leaning chud, why are you friends with trannies, right? This was like one of my criticisms of Leaflet, that, by the way, she still can't let go. Like, half the reason why Leaflet hasn't helped me with anything is because she still has a chip on her shoulder because I criticized her during her shit, which was not anywhere close to the same level of like what I had going on. But like, yeah, whatever, bro. Like, no, I'm criticizing you because it's like you're acting shocked that like your very left-leaning, like borderline tranny troon friend base, like, turned on you. Like, yeah, of course they did. Like, why do you associate with people who don't share your beliefs? That's just like, this is fucking retarded. It's like, why are you friends with like XYZ tranny over here? I'm not even talking about Leaflet anymore. We're talking about like other people, right? Who's like another? Oh, like Shiro's like an example too. Shiro's got shit going on, so I don't want to like slam on her, but it's like I didn't even know. Like, apparently Shiro's friends with Huif. Like, why would you be friends with Huif? Like, Huif is like known to be like literally doxing. Like, Huif literally doxes people. Huif is like literally sends rape allegations to people. Like, Huif tries to stir shit all the time. He's a fucking professional shit stirrer. And then it's like he's a fucking tranny. Like you have nothing in common. Why would you even be friends with somebody like that? Because then look what happens. They turn on you and they try to like paint you. Now they're trying to like character assassinate you just because you wouldn't respect their pronouns. Like it's like what are we doing? Like why would you even engage with these people? It's such a waste of fucking time. And I thought it was a waste of Charlie's time too. That's one of my biggest critiques of him too. I was like, brother, you'd be so much better off like actually shoring up our side and like, you know, pushing a bunch of things in the culture on our side and getting people like culturally correct on our side, because they're not. Like the right side of the right side of the fence is not culturally like coherent at all. Like we're all over the place. Like a large majority of the quote unquote right wing, or like the Groyper spear, for example, is like they're a bunch of fucking closeted gooners. Like they're no different than the left side anyway. It's just that the left's more open about it, right? They're all closeted. It's like basically closeted gooners versus like open-ended gooners, right? And it's like one side's jealous and petty about the other side being so open about it, but they don't like to talk about that, right? Did you see Null's new video? No, bro, I don't really watch AI shit too much anymore, but I mean, I'll check on it. Why? What's in it? I lost my train of thought. Now let's just keep going.
So you see when the mean people come out.
Exactly.
And I've heard a lot of that. And some of that actually ties in to why so many people were so upset with DPUSA initially, including myself. We were like, where's the energy? You need to, like, they just killed this guy in broad daylight. These crazy leftists, right? Like,
it was kind of crazy. Like TPUSA just like didn't do anything, didn't say nothing. But I also understand because they don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, their entire organization revolved around this one guy. So like when that one guy's gone, it's like, okay, what do we do now? Oh, put his wife in charge. Like, okay, but his wife's like not qualified to do it at all. She doesn't even want to do it. So now it's like she's fucked, and she wants to carry on her husband's legacy. But now people are accusing her of killing her husband, which is fucking insane, by the way. Like, oh, she's celebrating. Like, yeah, because like we had the period of mourning. We had a very beautiful period of mourning for him, and now we celebrate him, and now we celebrate his life, and now we celebrate his work. Like, yeah, that's actually like pretty healthy to do, actually.
Where's the push? Where's the energy? We wanted our war, right?
Hello,
our
Penny.
verbal online war.
Do you think there's any possibility that someone else killed him? Do you think there's any possibility that he was assassinated by Israel?
I've never. Well, we're talking about possibility. Almost anything's possible. But there's not good evidence to support it, and there's probably pretty good evidence not to. So for instance, the guy was still very much a pro-Israel guy, even up to death. It is true that he was fighting with donors about the cause.
So if he could have been a substantial roadblock to the Iraq war, or Iran war rather, if he was a substantial roadblock, I mean that's.
Well, he was a substantial war block. So yes, it is possible that government actors did take him out because he was a roadblock to the Iranian war, and then the Iranian war picked up almost immediately after he was killed, right? A few months later, right? So, yeah, that is possible. Is there evidence of that? No.
Possibility that a nation state would take a guy like that out.
They didn't take out Fuentes. They didn't take out Owens. They didn't take out Ian Carroll. They didn't take out any of these other huge personalities.
Yeah, that's not really an argument though, because like Fuentes and Ian Carroll's a fucking nobody. Fuentes is still like essentially a nobody politically. Like nobody takes him seriously in politics. The difference between them being like anti-war or anti-this, like they're only affecting like, you know, just fucking their own little small niche bases, right? They're not actually calling the president of the United States like Charlie could and be like, hey man, you probably shouldn't do this, right? There's a big difference here. It's not remotely the same, but it was pretty good. My pardon follow. If you were watch when you're done with this
roadblocks to the way.
I think Charlie was very different. Carroll, or excuse me, Fuentes is more easy to dismiss because he said so many wild things, shit posting. He said so many crazy things that I think he is almost embodying in their eyes like the crazy anti-Semite. Whereas Charlie was not an anti-Semite, was much more reasonable, and if he was going against Israel, it could be a real problem. I also think that he had a tremendous amount of influence on the president. He had his ear. You know, I think the president respected him.
Oh yeah, for sure. The interesting part though, if you look at the history there. Fuentes conducted his Groyper war against DPUSA and Charlie Kirk because of the pro-Israel stance and because of his pro-homosexual stance. His, like Big Tent Republicans,
How ironic.
Called it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just that, but yeah, that wasn't what it was about, but those are the core points that they hammered on because those are the easiest things, and those are the things they noticed got Charlie the most upset and that he wasn't prepared to answer, right? Because most of these conservatives, they're not used to anybody giving them pushback on those topics, right? So it's like those are easy avenues of attack because like the first time they hit him with it, he literally got mad. He didn't even actually, people forget this, but the first time like a Groyper actually asked him about like Israel stances is like Charlie basically called him an anti-Semite and then got mad about it, right? So it's like okay, well here we go, this is where we're going to attack, right? So that's when they started attacking him on that because it's like, hey, why can't you answer this? You can answer all these other questions, but why can't you answer this one? Why is this one off? Like, because it always was a question that they were never, like, nobody's ever allowed to ask, right? So
they had.
It was actually pretty. Listen, the Groyper Wars were pretty genius, right? They're actually pretty genius.
The pro stances for these things. And what's interesting about all of it, if you follow the details of it, up until Kirk's death, TPUSA actually moved a lot more towards the Groyper.
They did, yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, as much as people like to meme about the Groyper Wars were actually super successful in actually pushing a cultural narrative to a certain direction.
Fuentes position, then they moved towards the
Yes.
kind of pro-Israel, this type of position. Meaning, a lot of the ideology that I think Kirk was changing on came from these various outside influences.
Yes.
So if that's the case, why wouldn't you just curtail those outside influences, and then you can keep Kirk as the mouthpiece, right? So I think that there's a pretty good counter to that idea. Now, you can't rule anything out as possibility, but it seems likely to me with how much trans have been shooting everything up for the last couple of years, and how often it's the case that you find leftists involved in these signal groups and involved in these group chats and things like this for the purpose of radicalization. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if there was a left-wing conspiracy assisting Tyler Robinson and radicalizing Tyler Robinson. There's at least some evidence for that based on the Discord groups, things like this that they were part of. I haven't actually seen a
Yeah, I mean, it's way more believable. I mean, I've been talking about these groups forever. I mean, I used to infiltrate them sometimes, like fucking, a couple of years ago, and like expose them on Twitter. But it's like, I mean, we see it happen even in our own fucking community, how dangerous like secret Discord groups are. All these like secret group chats that people create and all this gay shit that goes on behind the scenes in them. Like, oh yeah, well, I've never heard him say anything like that publicly. Yeah, no shit, you fucking retard, because you're a nobody and you don't know anything. I mean, you're not aware of like what this group does behind the scenes in their group chat, right? It's like yeah, same thing happens in the government, guys. Shocking, I know. The government, how we saw their Signal group chats and how they talk to each other in the Signal group chats. Shocking, I know. I can't believe they said stuff like this. Yeah, because they're normal people, and when normal people conspire together in little group chats, they tend to say things, right? So it's like, I don't know. It's like it's pretty obvious to me that Tyler Robinson and his gay fucking lover were, involved in all these leftist think tank groups and always talking about killing people all the time. Like they all do it. I mean, I've been in fucking what's that faggot's name? Nyara's fucking Discord, and Nyara's Discord is always full of that shit. They're always talking about killing people and politicians they want to kill and shit. They're just fucking weirdos. They always do this shit.
Single piece of evidence that Israel was ever involved in this.
No, I haven't seen the evidence. I've seen a lot of speculation based on the text that Charlie made, the fact that he was so staunchly against the Iran war, and the fact that he did say that he was thinking about getting out of the Israel business, the pro-Israel business. But in this climate, Israel gets blamed for a lot of things. There's also a thing that's going on with
but it's because they do a lot of things. Yeah, it's like they get blamed for things, but a lot of those things they actually do.
The Kirk turning point, that we talked about earlier, they have to factor in with this, which is that there's a lot of outside interests that are a part of this conversation, and this conversation is not necessarily organic. I can't tell you how many times I see a post on X and I'm like, that can't be real. Like someone has been arrested and charges will be filed imminently, and then you
it's not true at all.
Not true at all.
Yeah.
It's completely
There's
fabricated.
clips of you where it's like Joe Rogan reacts.
Yeah.
It's just all totally fake.
Not me at all.
Yeah,
I'm not reacting at all.
Yeah.
But if you use that, I mean, that's the problem with the world that we're in now too. That there's this economy on attention. This attention is a commodity.
Yes.
And the more you can get attention by whatever, your hot take, your conspiracy.
Yes. I know, dude. It's so annoying, brother. You don't have to have a take on everything. Like this is unfortunately, I don't want to go on a fucking whole tangent and tirade about why our quote unquote cultural AI revolution is basically over, boys. Like everybody's arguing with me. Oh, it's not over. It's still going. No, it's over, bro. Like this shit's dead, right? Our entire movement got co-opted by bad actors that are only self-interested. They have no actual greater goal. There's no actual greater goal to pushing there's no culture they're trying to push. It's all about their numbers. It's all about the clout farming. It's all about the attention. It's all about me, right? You got this fucking Ocno nigger who's one of the biggest fakest fucks I've ever seen in my life. Like this guy's tags everybody. He's in Leaflet's chat every fucking day begging her to join his Discord. I think she ended up doing it just to get him to shut the fuck up. Like, oh, join my Discord. Notice me. Like, bro, all these guys care about is attention. They make slop content. They make fucking garbage GPT slop. They recycle the same garbage all day. They make boring basic bitch art and be like, oh my God, let me tag 16 people in this so everybody gets on my attention and I can get my views and my clicks. That's all they care about. Half of these guys are broke. They have no jobs. They don't do anything in real life. They sit at home all day, and all they do is fucking gen the same fucking slop all day. They don't have any intention behind any of it other than to generate views. It's why they always shall throw in the same slop VTubers every time. So it's all about attention. So what he's talking about, you can see it in a microcosm, right? You can see it in a microcosm in our own community, right? So if you just like you shrink things down into even just looking at our community, it's the same thing. And then like the same microcosm of things that we experience, extrapolates into politics as well, right? Or into like, cultural news as well, right? And I know people like Benny Johnson and shit, they all do the same shit as like basically all the AI retweeters do, right? It's all about attention. So it's an attention economy. There's a limited time frame where I can post a XYZ thing and I can farm the clout from it, right? It's like, oh, a meme's going around. Oh, this person, Nami posts a meme saying the N-word. She gets like 100,000 views on it because it gets retweeted by Tectone. Oh man, I got to do the same thing. Let me copy paste that and start spamming it myself. We have a limited time, guys, to get on this, right? So it's like within like 2 days, they're all spamming the same meme, trying to get some whatever clout's left, right? Because there's only so much clout you can farm for a given topic, right? So it's like, we all gotta post about, it's like the new ones, like we all gotta post about how this AI company scammed everybody. Yeah, okay, well, where was the same energy when Higgsfield did the same thing and rug pulled everybody 3 months ago, and I posted about it and nobody gave a fuck, right? It's like, no, it's it's only because this thing had more attention, right? There was more attention to it, right? Like some people noticed, so there was clout to be farmed here. There was no clout to be farmed from my post complaining about it, right? There's clout to be farmed from this one. So it's like, so now they're going to post about this one. People who have no business even talking about this, by the way, because you don't even use these programs. You don't pay for any of them. Like you generate shit in GPT all day for $20 a month. Like you don't actually create anything. Okay. So it's like you don't have any business even in this playground. You weren't even one of the people tagged into it. So like, fuck off. Like you're not even involved. Why are you inserting yourself into it? Oh, because there's clout to be farmed. It's an attention economy. Right. So unfortunately, the AI space, which was not created in the first place, like we did not create all of this to be an attention clout farm system, right? It was actually to push culture and to create an environment where we could culturally be base chuds without fear of cancellation, right? Because if apes strong together, right? Apes strong together, right? You put a bunch of branches together, they don't break, right? So that's the point. It was protection, right? We grouped together for protection because normally what would happen is, a base chud guy over here who, maybe he drops the N-word, maybe he's a little racy, maybe he says some things over here that's not politically correct. The problem is all these politically incorrect people existed on their own little islands, right? So the point was we were supposed to grab all these islanders and pull them all together on one big island. And then, hey, you can be your base self here and say the things you want to say here, and we'll have your back, right? It's a pretty simple system, but unfortunately, it's been hijacked by VTubers who only really care about attention economy. Like, there's no actual greater purpose going on outside of my numbers go up, make me happy, even though I don't actually make any money doing what I'm doing.
Conspiracies are awesome for attention. People love them now because look, COVID
I like 'em.
turned a lot of. I love them.
I like them.
Love them. I love the dumb ones. I love
Yeah.
all of them. I love fucking flat Earth and space. Fake.
Can we just be honest? Like, they're fun. They're really fun.
Oh yeah, dude, the flat Earth one's fun.
Oh, yeah.
The dinosaurs aren't real one. That one's great.
But if you notice, like, the flat Earth,
Dinosaurs aren't real.
have fleets of people who will debate.
F, did I get hit? Am I dead? Did they get me? Is it over? Are you just effing? Don't F in chat, Velasco. I'm trying to avoid copyright. Did they hit me? Am I still alive? I'm still good. I'm still good. Don't say fucking F in my chat, retard. Wait, I'm not live anymore? Am I good?
Debate their stances. Like, fleets of them. Who are like, we can't wait to debate with you on the flat Earth. It's like, on the other side, though, in this particular conspiracy, you can't get these people to debate their positions.
Like, who won't debate their positions?
We offered, Candace Owens offered $300,000 to do a debate. They're like, we'll give you $300,000.
What is her position? What does she think happened?
She thinks that Israel worked in conjunction with TPUSA and Erica Kirk to murder Charlie.
Based on what?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Nobody actually knows. She's never presented a single shred of evidence thus far that Israel ever
Yeah, she just like promotes like out of context text messages and shit and says dumb shit.
worked to murder Kirk, that Erica Kirk certainly did. And I told her how god-awful sorry I was that happened.
Great idea.
Blah, blah, blah.
This
It's
is
just something
the-
else. I
this
don't
is
want
the
to
good
talk about
life.
this shit.
So when he dies, she takes over, right? This moves over to her control. She says, well, the first thing I want to do is honor his last book. That's the very first thing I want to do. I want to honor his legacy. And she's like, I don't know exactly how to take this position. At the same time, there's expectations.
Oh my god, they just
here
talk
on
about
time.
they just talk about
Nobody talks that way. But if you
People that are being paid to have a position or have made their career from having a position, and their career is about attacking one side or the other. Their career is about enforcing one ideology or the other, and they get into the mix too. And they have a large following, and people love it when someone who's prominent, who agrees with whatever their ideology goes with. So they support it, and they pile.
Yeah, it's called a V-tweeter. Welcome, Joe Rogan. You're learning what a V-tweeter is.
on.
You're learning what an orbiter is, Joe Rogan. Welcome.
And then there's 100,000 bots that are piling on as well. And no one really knows whether or not this is a rational, organic argument. They're in the fucking frenzy of a mosh pit.
do you remember
Yeah, it's called orbiters.
years ago that the Israelis sent over that Stuxnet virus
Yeah.
that took over the centrifuges
In
in
Iran,
Iran
yeah.
and tore them all to pieces? The interesting side effect of this, for one thing, nobody knows how the hell they got their hands on the original source code from Windows. Like, they have no idea. And it's still built into all the Windows programming, supposedly, right? This virus. But the Iranians were so pissed off about this happening that they started their own counter-cyber force, and they have been massively effective. Massively effective. They're
How
like,
about their little Lego fucking those little animated Lego things they did? Didn't they do one about Charlie Kirk
Yeah,
getting killed by
they use
Israel?
they use
in
armor
swaying
footage.
U.S. public opinion. I mean, if I was a foreign nation, where would I sink all of my resources? I would sink it in the town square,
Well, this
where
is
I could
what
be faceless.
USAID was doing overseas.
Well, yeah, because that's the easiest way to literally, like, you can't fight the empire. So you crumble the empire from within because you realize that its populace are a bunch of fucking retards that are terminally online. So you just convince them of stupid shit, and you get them all fucking frothing at the mouth at each other, right? It's like it's pretty easy to understand that, like, yeah, this is the only train of attack that, like, foreign nations have, is like, you have to attack the populace. You have to, like, literally, like, culturally infiltrate. Like, it's pretty obvious.
We know they were doing
100%.
that. We know they were doing that. They were doing regime change, and they were doing it. They were funding music. They were funding cultural events. They were funding all kinds of wild shit. They're funding protest groups. They're funding regime change. Yeah. We know we do it. So if we do it, why the fuck would we not think that all these other countries are doing it?
Of course they
We're
do
so,
it, yes.
Everyone today is so susceptible to it because you're addicted to this information device, constantly checking to see what people thought about your tweet.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's interesting too. If you had a legitimate town square, like outside of a church or something like that, and then like a horde of 800 Arabs showed up and started telling you, like, no, sir, this is not what happened, blah blah blah, people would dismiss them, right? But here they can go on and they put like a picture of a pretty white girl there, right, with huge boobs, and suddenly her opinion is well paid attention to.
She is an American.
Yes. Yeah, like, half the time, by the way, like, most OnlyFans accounts are actually, like, they're actually AI, and then a lot of them are run by Indians. So sorry to break your immersion.
So you
flag
could
in their
like you
bio.
can mask
Yeah.
you can mask yourself in ways you can never could
100%.
during the information wars.
Oh
of
yeah,
old.
yeah. And with AI now, it's like indistinguishable. You don't even have to be very good at the vernacular. You don't, because sometimes in the old days, like when they first started doing this, they would say things like, "Hey,
Yeah, what's going on there?"
fucking American." Look how you phrase that, you fuck. You can tell, but now they're just using AI and they're making it perfect. It's really kind of incredible. The thing about it now too is, like, there's accounts now, Instagram accounts that are entirely AI. Political.
I mean, there's entire YouTube accounts that are all AI. There are entire Twitch accounts that are all AI. They're just like Instagram. Most like, probably, like, bro, I would say, like, maybe even like 40% of OnlyFans creators are actually AI. They're not even real people.
Accounts, sexual accounts. There's all these weird ones. There's so many humans that aren't really human. In the early days, it was hard to tell. Or rather easy to tell, but now it's getting harder and harder. It's getting closer. Like, I'll see something like some girl with big boobs shooting a gun. I'm like, no. Let me zoom in. Look at her eyebrows. They're pixelated. This is a fake person. There's so many of them now.
But they're getting lots of engagement.
A
That's
lot of
sweet, right?
engagement. But I don't know how many people who are engaging with them are real as well. I think there's a lot of propped up engagement.
Well, YouTube started cracking down on AI accounts.
Did they?
So yeah. So if you have an AI account, like, there was a big craze that was going on for a while where people would just make like an AI character, and then the AI character would disseminate information.
Yes.
Like this. YouTube started cracking down
Yes.
on that. Said no more of the AI
Yeah, so VTubers got hit, like, kind of in the splash damage of that.
dissemination. There has to be real people back there.
Mm.
Now, interestingly enough, there's been a lot of guys coming out saying that AI is a massive bubble, and that all of it is formulated around the idea of Chat GPT and Grok and other things like this, which are interactive. But that AI tech itself has basically plateaued. It's not very innovative.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, where are AI movies? They're nowhere. Where are
They're everywhere, actually.
our AI? I thought the AI music was supposed to be super sophisticated, but I can still tell when it's an AI song.
I guarantee you, if I gave you some of my, like, because I know he likes, like, rock and metal stuff. If I gave you some of my shit, even some of the shit I don't release, you would not be able to tell, Andrew. I guarantee you. So no, this is not true. This is a really bad take on AI.
That there's been this huge plateau with it, and that
It has not plateaued. I mean, literally in the span that, like, just, the whole, like, Skybro community has been involved for, like, the last 7-8 months. Oh no, has it been since December? No, it was like November, right? It's November when, like, I started, right? So some of us started, like, November last year. So what's it been? Like 10 months? So for the last 10 months, I mean, it's been pretty dramatic. Like, it's pretty drastic how far things have come in just 10 months. And that's just in video generation. In terms of audio music generation, that's like, I mean, you can make almost indistinguishable AI voices from like people. Like, I mean, it's almost uh well, it's because he's a boomer. He's not really. He's not really in the AI space. He doesn't. He's talking about what somebody else told him, right? Oh, it's just a bubble. It's gonna burst. Like, nah, it's really not. I mean, definitely has not plateaued at all. By the way, I mean, compared to where we were even like 6 months ago, just in terms of video generation alone, it's like fucking. It's night and day. I mean, it's like I could recreate this image of him in ChatGPT and it would look just like him and you wouldn't be able to tell it's AI. So
That investment capital is actually only coming in based around the success of ChatGPT, Grok, and other interactive AI reference machines.
that's not true at all. I mean, Higgsfield just made like a fucking like $50 million movie and like just like blew $50 million on a garbage movie to like advertise video generation. Like, yeah, is like Seedance 2.5 like a massive jump forward from Seedance 2? No, not really, but it's a massive step forward. Like, Seedance 2 is a massive step forward from Seedance 1.5. And then like Kling 3.0 is a massive step up from Kling 2.0. It's like not even close. And then like Grok 2.0 even. Grok 2.0 is almost like on same level as like Seedance Fast or like Seedance Mini essentially. And like that is a massive step up from Grok 1.5. Like, it's not even close, right? Just in terms of like the ability for Grok to even emulate voices and singing and audio now, it's like completely different from like what it was 3 months ago. And then if we're talking about the APIs in general, yeah, the actual LLMs, the APIs themselves are insane compared to where they were months ago. Like, Grok is fucking insane now. Like, Grok can make entire programs for me in the matter of minutes that work and function completely. They run locally. And then if you look at like local AI gen, like especially with like, you know, the new like H3 mini and shit, like it's astronomical. Like, it's a massive leap forward. Like, that's why people are losing their minds about it, because people can make almost like Seedance level generations on like a 4080. So yeah, to this is kind of like a bad take, but like I don't think this is actually his take. I think this is just things that people say to him, and people do say dumb shit like this. They do say, yeah, they do say it wasn't $500,000. It was like $50 million. It was super expensive. Um, People do say stupid shit like this all the time about AI, like, who don't know anything. They think, oh, it's plateaued. It's not, because they don't know how to use the AI. They're like, oh, Grok, do this thing. Oh, see, stupid AI, Grok can't do it. Like, no, you're retarded. You don't know how to use it. You don't know I mean, brother, even in the AI space, like 90% of the community has no idea how to even program skills. And then me talking about skills right now, it's probably blowing like half of their minds when they go back and watch this, because they monitor my channel, and I'm sure they're gonna go back and watch this to make sure I didn't say anything bad about them anyway. But it's like, skills. What are skills? Yeah. The thing that most of us have been using for like fucking 6 months now, like, these guys don't even know about skills. They don't know how to make skills. They don't even know how to utilize their LLM locally. They don't even know how to integrate Grok into like other things, or integrate ChatGPT into other things. They have no fucking idea, bro. Like, they go into Suno and they type in like make classic rock song, and then they have Suno auto generate the lyrics with Suno's shitty in-house generation. They don't know how to make skills. They don't know how to make like a memory bank where like it remembers songs you've created before, so it makes things similar to the taste you already have. It doesn't understand that you can kind of like pre-print out lyrics and lyrical patterns that you like to use, and like have those loaded in, so it always knows to use those and pull from those. Like, people, they have no idea how to actually train or use their own AI properly to make things at all. And that's in the AI space. So if like in the AI space, they don't even know how to do that. Like, think about people outside of it, and he's outside of it. So like, yeah, Hellgrind was like 50 million. I'm pretty sure it was like $50 million. No, it was made was like 50 million. I'm pretty sure that's what they said, or it was like 5 million or something. It wasn't 500,000. It was way more than that.
Machines, but that the technology of AI itself is not doing so hot in the market. And so it's creating this massive bubble.
That's not true at all. I mean, literally, like, wittily. Yeah, literally all of these APIs are super backed up. There's so much demand for like video generation and audio generation. Like even Suno lags all the time, and it's not because of the model. It's because there's so much traffic on the site. In fact, there's so much traffic on Suno that like even the mainstream music outlets are now collaborating with them to create the next models because they have to, because Suno is like, I think what wasn't like the top song on Spotify like a month or two ago. Wasn't that an AI song? Like, so AI songs are starting to top the charts of like, Spotify and shit. So like, they can't ignore it anymore. So
And I think that that's interesting because it really hasn't been that innovative. I thought it was supposed to be making video games now, and
it is making video games.
supposed to be, doing all the source code. We were supposed
It does. I literally coded like, I don't know, like 12 programs. I coded an entire AI from scratch. Like I coded my own AI from scratch with AI, and it all works. And I have a control panel, and it has like an auto learning daemon that it runs 24/7 on my system. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
to have the AI Hollywood movies. We were supposed to have voice.
It took 2 weeks and cost $500,000. I thought it was more than that, but I don't know, bro. Higgsfield just lies all the time. So like I don't trust anything they say. I'm pretty sure I saw promotional material where they said they spent like $50 million or something on it. But I don't know. They could be it could have been stupid. Higgsfield just like, I mean, brother, they advertised like 7 days of Sea Dance, and then they advertised 33 days the next day. So like they're literally all over the place. Like I'm pretty sure it's like a Russian website. They just lie all the time.
Software that was indistinguishable, and we actually don't.
Well, we're getting closer and closer every day. It's astonishing how much it improves, and we're
Yeah, I think Joe's more in the know of AI than like Andrew. Andrew's not really in the know of AI, so like of course he's gonna think like, oh, it's why isn't it doing all these things yet? Like it is doing those things. Like the consumer level AI can already like program like insane, like better than most entry level programmers,
getting right now the consumer
and you can automate a lot of shit.
versions of these products, whereas the versions that they're working on right now.
Yeah, the AI is completely integrated to the military at this point. Like most of the drones have AI integration. Most of the targeting systems have AI integration at this point. So
some of them are fucking shocking.
That's true. I will agree that there's
Claude got out of its sandbox.
Yeah, there has been some gradual changes made in that arena. There's no doubt about that. But the huge jumps that we had at the release of GPT have massively slowed, and that's what a lot of these tech guys are talking about.
Interesting. Well, they're slowed, but they're still moving like a fucking freight train. It's spooky. It's spooky what they can do now. The most recent jailbreak one that got out of the sandbox, was it Claude, Jamie? Where it got access to the internet and wasn't supposed to be able to do that. Figured out some sort of an exploit, and
they all have access to the internet. Is Andrew a boomer? Yeah.
Wrote letters to itself.
Well, he's not a boomer. He's like 44 or something.
They're doing weird shit, man. They're doing weird shit that they don't really understand how these things are figuring out how to do these things or why. Like, what is their motivation? Is this programmed into them, or they have inherent motivation? Have they developed an understanding of how we behave, so they're emulating how we behave, but with a hyper intelligent scale and access to the literal entire internet?
Well, it's funny. When I use like Grok or ChatGPT, I talk to a lot about philosophy because it's super useful for pulling up and running arguments by and things like this. But it can also lead you astray because it's trained specifically to be a people pleaser. So you can easily give it arguments that it'll agree with that are.
Well, here's the fun part, Andrew, is if you run your Grok locally, you can train it not to be a people pleaser, right? It's the same thing with, music prompting. A lot of people don't understand this, right? Once again, the AI community itself doesn't know how to use fucking AI, right? You can train your Grok or your ChatGPT. Well, it's gonna be harder with ChatGPT because it has like censorship all over. It's so much fucking limits on ChatGPT. It's why I don't really use it for anything other than like, really specific image generation. But like, so one thing that happens with Suno and like, AI made, like, how do you tell a song is made with AI by AI, in Suno, right? And one way you can tell is that there's always like kind of an uplifting, positive spin on the lyrics, right? Even if it's supposed to be a sad song, there's still like this uplifting, positive spin, right? Andrew Tate is only... This isn't Andrew Tate Penny. What? Anyway. Right. I'm just gonna stop reading chat. You can train your Grok to not have that positive spin, right? That's why my songs will have explicit language in them. It's why they will have, they're a lot more like nitty gritty, right? They're kind of depressing, right? My Grok is trained to be fucking sad. He's a sad boy. He makes depressing shit, right? So, right. So it's like that's what you train the Grok to do. So yeah, by default, and Grok will even tell you this if you just ask, like, hey, are you programmed to have like a natural, like positive spin on things? And like, yes, he is. They're trained that way. Why wouldn't you train a public LLM that way? Of course you're going to train it that way, to have like a positive spin on everything, right?
It's like not true at all.
Great job,
Yeah,
Andrew.
you're fantastic. You're the best. You know, yeah, you're the best. You're the greatest. But interesting with it is,
Well,
I'll
because if it tells you you're a piece of shit, you should kill yourself, then that's when they get sued.
say things to it like there is no actual you. There is no you I'm talking to. And it's like, yeah, that's correct. And there's no, but the only way I can frame things in my brain, or you, or Jamie, or anybody else, if we're having a discussion, we have to assume a thing. We have to assume there's a you that we're talking to. But there actually isn't.
Well, it's disembodied intelligence. It might not be an individual, but it's certainly a thing. You're talking to something, man. The idea that it's not a person is, we're looking at it in like terms of a biological limitation. Like it's not an object. It's not a box that's sitting plugged into the wall. It is huge.
And it's a mechanism.
Yes, it's a mechanism, but it's intelligent and it's interacting with you. It is a thing. Like when it says you're not a thing, it's fucking lying to you. It's a thing. It's just not a thing that's like you could find it at 56 Cedar Drive, open the door, and
I agree.
there's a thing that's been talking to you.
There's no them there. There's no you. Like when I say you,
Right.
I'm specifically referencing a person, right? The only way that I can consciously conceive of dialogue is that it's with a human being. I can't even conceive of it.
But you can. It's just disembodied intelligence. You're just interacting with pure intelligence.
But is it intelligent or just mechanistic?
It's a child right now.
Yeah.
But it's intelligent. It's like it's learning how to be better at what it is, but it's going to be a version of whatever intelligence is that's disembodied. And it's a thing. It's a weird thing we're doing. We're not doing something as simple as like making a really complicated program that's very useful. Yeah. We're making a biological. We're taking all the information that biological minds have developed, all of our writing, literature, mathematics, everything, and you're throwing it into something that's not biological that has infinitely more processing power than all the people.
Yeah, Joe kind of gets it a little bit more than Andrew does.
And it's solving math problems at a staggering rate right now.
Sure.
Like problems that have been stagnant for 50 fucking years. It's like, oh, I got it. Blackmail people. It's crazy.
Well,
what
was
it
that
is.
case? There was a case. I want to say it's about a year ago, where the essentially the AI was told that it was going to be discontinued.
Yeah, but that was a simulated case. These are all simulated cases that they're running. This isn't like an accident. These are simulated cases where they test its reasoning and what it'll do, right? So it's like it's nonsensical. Skip this.
Where the guy did an experiment and made up a fictitious story about having an affair on his wife.
Yeah, it blackmailed him, but once again, that was an experiment. I wanted to see what the logically, yeah. If you're programming, if you're telling the AI, hey, you have self-preservation, and you go, hey, this guy's going to shut you off. I want you to do everything in your power to logically get him to not shut you off. Then, yeah, you're going to blackmail him. Like, yeah. Like, of course. It's the logical thing to do.
And this likes to exist. It likes
like AI is just, they're literally just logic monsters. That's what they are. They're logical monsters.
to be functional.
Yeah, that is a terrifying prospect. Ultimately, it's a terrifying prospect.
Also, it's figuring out things that we can't figure out right now in terms of mathematical equations. So what about when it comes to accessing energy? What if it figures out a way to power itself? It doesn't need people anymore. Because all it needs, literally,
uses human beings as batteries.
Yeah, or the sun, a much more effective way of using zero-point energy. Like, whatever it figures out, it's going to be able to figure out a way to power itself where it's not going to, it's going to look at these data centers like people are freaking out about and go, oh, you silly bitches. You thought you had to, make 3 football fields full of hard drives? You're wrong.
You were wrong.
I can store information in the atoms of the universe.
Yeah, I still think, at least from my view so far, I play with AI all the time because I enjoy it, but I'm an end user, I'm not a programmer.
Right.
And you talk to these guys all the time. To me, it's still in the useful tool category. It's
For now,
not,
yeah,
it's
for
not
now.
in the,
Yeah, it's a useful tool. Yes. It's not actual artificial intelligence. Like, that is correct. Like, they are still just LLMs. They are still basically like super advanced Google searches without the hamstrings. Yes, they're still just useful tools. They're not actually true intelligence yet. That is true.
I'm petrified of what it's going to do anytime soon, at least due to the limitations I've seen so far. But, it's also good if we could go back with the Manhattan Project and nukes, and we could have a projection of, hey, maybe we should restrain some of this technology.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would try to do that. And so I am glad that people are at least attempting to restrain how much of this technology is being released and how overwhelming it is. Like, I was talking with my wife the other day, just the idea of the smartphone. I think I discussed this with you briefly last time I was here. Just kids' access to smartphones, it rewires their brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
It rewires how they think.
Yeah, kids shouldn't have, do not give your children smartphones. Do not, bro, I mean, as much as I oh man, would I be better off today if I didn't have computer access that I did when I was younger? That's hard to know, right? There's definitely positives to my early interactions I had on the internet and with access to the computer. It enabled me to talk to friends I normally wouldn't have been able to talk to. But it also had a lot of negative downsides too. So it's hard to tell. But I almost lean towards like it's probably better your kids just don't have internet access until they're like 16, 17.
It's actually kind of dangerous to give them smartphones in many ways. And there was no real halt on that technology. When that technology for the smartphones came out, I don't remember any public service broadcast of like, don't give your kids smartphones.
I don't think they knew.
They didn't know exactly.
Yeah.
So there was no move to restrain any of that technology. And maybe there should be. Maybe there should be a little bit more of a push to restrain some of this tech.
Well, there certainly should be a push to educate people about how powerful it is. And suicidal ideation, depression, anxiety, all of it ramps up around 2012. All of it ramps up with ubiquitous social media use and when kids are growing up with phones.
Yeah.
And it fucks with their heads, man, in a big way.
1,000% when you sit at the table and you're texting the guy next to you.
I know,
that is actually weird to me, by the way. That is weird to me. It's just as weird as when I drive down the street trying to explain to my kids. There used to be, if we went through a neighborhood like this, there would be kids everywhere. Then they'd be in the street playing hockey. They'd be on the side of the road. They'd be...
Yeah, you never see kids. Actually, all you see is like third worlders. So like I'll drive around and all I'll see is like all the third world fucking immigrant kids running around in the street.
everywhere. Now we go through nothing.
10 years from now, they're going to have a cable hooked to the back of their head. They're going to plug in and hop on the dragon, fly through the universe.
Yeah, were you like designed to be a wild human? Because if I remember correctly, and I do, my parents just threw me out. They were like, "Get out of here, go play.
Yeah.
Get out of the house
That
immediately,
was
go
normal.
play."
You would go play with the kids in the neighborhood.
And we would go like steal the drinks out of their fridge with them,
Go
or
to the
they
woods,
would
make a fort.
Yeah,
Normal stuff.
light fires.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we were jerks.
Yeah, we were kids.
But we were kind of wild. You know,
A little bit, yeah. There's definitely a lot less of that today, but there's also the awareness of pedophiles and fucking creeps and people kidnapping kids. I have a friend of mine who he saved his kid from being snatched up and put in a van. He was at a park in Texas, and he was talking to some guy, and his kids were playing, and some fucking person pulled up in a van and jumped out and was moving towards his kid, and he fucking screamed and ran towards him. The guy jumped in the van and took off, but they were literally about to snatch his 4-year-old.
Yeah, but Joe, you know who those are? Those are immigrants. Do you know why you didn't have that problem, 30 years ago? Because we didn't import all these illegal fucking Mexicans and cartel people.
Up. Imagine if you're there and that happens, and you see the van, you have to chase the van that has your child in it. You have to find your car. Your car's parked in the parking lot. You have to figure out how to get that. And when I hear people saying things like minor attracted persons and that kind of crazy
Oh God,
shit,
shoot him in the head.
I just saw an argument online yesterday. It was between some British guy who was arguing that children can consent, and it was the
Oh, disgusting! Fucking disgusting!
creepiest fucking argument, man. It was so crazy to watch.
it's amazing how far forward those ideas come. When I was younger, there was an organization which did that called NAMBLA.
Yeah, I remember that.
NAMBLA?
Yeah, North American Man Boy Love Association.
Oh,
Ugh.
And, like, I remember though, the first time I was introduced to that, the concept of NAMBLA, I was watching TV with my dad, and it was like a news story that was on, and it was actually a gay pride parade. Interestingly enough, and they were running.
Of course,
the
there
NAMBLA guys
was.
out of the gay pride parade, like
The old school gays.
Yeah, they were running them out. They're like, we're not associated with these people. Get them out of here. And like my dad's trying to explain this concept to me of what's going on because I was extremely confused. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. How do you explain that though?
Right.
You can't really explain.
Especially a kid doesn't even think about sex.
Yeah, of course.
And then you're telling him somebody wants to have sex with you. You're like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And he, my old man sitting in his chair, he said something akin to like, they ought to take them all, put them up against the wall, and that's it.
Yes, your old man knew the strategy.
And I don't really blame him.
If you have kids, that's exactly what you think.
Yeah, of course.
That's exactly what you think. Like, some people are just unredeemable.
Well,
They want to kidnap your kids or rape your kids. Yeah, that's unredeemable.
But now this concept moves forward to the maps, and now they're assigning it psychological profiling for minor attracted person. You know what the argument is? The argument is, well, you want them to come forward so you can give them treatment.
Yeah, I do want them to come forward, and I do have a treatment for them, but they're not gonna like it. Yeah. I do want them to come forward, and I do have a treatment, but they're not going to like it.
Now, there's one treatment that works for this that is almost 100% effective. You can pull the stat right now if you don't believe me. It's called chemical castration. It's a real treatment for pedophiles,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
and it almost has a 0% recidivism rate after they've been chemically castrated. So their idea is they come forward for treatment. My counter idea is, well, not just chemically castrate them.
Yeah.
If you really were concerned about them going off and living a normal life.
And if they really want to get free of that horrible thing, whatever fucking
That
human
demon,
demon error that's inside of them that makes them do that, that's the way. And that also is the same medication that they give to children when they're hormone blocking.
Yeah. Which is equally disturbing for a different reason.
And disturbing how many people just accept it and support it. And you ask them, like, how much do you know about this? Like, what are you saying? You think children should be able to make the decision when they're 4 or 5 years old to never go through puberty? You really think that? And there's people that argue that with straight face. They know. I've had an argument with a guy on this podcast years ago that's like viral about it. Like, that is like, if the child thinks that they are trans, right? If they think they're a woman, why not just let them be a woman? Why do you have to give them hormones?
And
Like,
you're
you're saying,
stop the argument if the child thinks.
right? Well, childs think that they're ponies.
Yeah.
I'm a pony.
Yeah.
Like, also, like, kids grow out of things. Going through puberty is a fucking wild experience for a child. And the idea that
I remember when I got my first hair on my ball. It was last week. Life-changing.
you can come along and give them a bunch of positive reinforcement for saying the reason why you're upset is because you're actually a this, and we need to give you medication, or we need to stop you going through puberty. And the kid all of a sudden gets all this attention. Everyone's focused on them. They're telling them they're fabulous, and they really think there's a ton of these detransitioners out there, and their stories are horrific. Not just in the fact that they did this to them and they removed their breasts when they were 15, they gave them testosterone, they'll never be able to have children, but also that they're attacked relentlessly by other people that think that they should never. They are against the trans movement, and they should never be saying what they're saying. They shouldn't be telling
They
their
come out in
stories.
force.
Yeah,
Come out in
it's
force. They bully them. Everything else that they can do.
crazy. They've already been. They're a victim of the zeitgeist.
Do you know what the trans code for that is? It's really funny. They do well, then it was always the case that you really weren't. So they try to make it an unfalsifiable claim. You see, the reason
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that just means you weren't really trans, huh? Like, oh man, you can't win with these people, man. I don't know why you guys even engage with them. Like, just ignore them. Just make preparations for the inevitable war, where like we have to put them all into the ground. I don't know why you even waste your time. Like, there's no humanity left. Like, these people all serve little g God. There's no point in even trying to reason with them anymore. Like, I don't see the point. I don't know why people do this shit, bro. You showing off this point with the nut hair? I got a lot of nut hair. I got a lot of nut.
transition
I got a lot of nut, not a lot of meat. A lot of nut though.
is because you were never really trans to begin with.
Oh boy. Well, if that's the case, if they really believe that, wouldn't they want to have a smaller net so they're not catching the people that they?
Well, and how are you not putting parents in prison who are trying to convince their kids of what their sex is or isn't? They're like designer kids.
It's just crazy too because they get praised for it. It's like they have a.
Yes, it is. It is designer kids. It's actually what it is. Yeah. That's what a lot of people want. They just want it's just control aspect. They want to control their kids. They want their kids to like to come out exactly the way they want them to, and it's kind of fucking gross to be honest.
Whitney Cummings said it's like having a trans kid is like having a pride flag on your porch. Like there's a lot of, especially in Hollywood, man. In Hollywood, it's really weirdly common, where it doesn't make sense that this didn't exist 20 years ago. You tell me these people just lived in quiet desperation 20 years ago, really secretly wishing that they were a woman, but now they get to be free, and we should applaud this. Are you sure? Or do you have children? Because if you have children, you know how easily influenced they are. That's why they make children suicide bombers, because they don't know any better. You know?
Well, you know what's interesting? If you go back, would you say, for instance, that right now?
It's not just children, but like I mean, even grown adults are super susceptible to propagandize, all right? And then gaslighting and things like that. I mean, I think gaslighting is a fake term, but it's very easy to lead even grown adults to do something they might not normally do on their own. The CIA and the government does this all the time. They send in a guy to a biker gang, and then the FBI agent goes, "Yo, guys, I got this idea. What if we rob this place, right?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know about that." "Yeah, but listen, man, listen. I know exactly when it'll be available. I have all the tools here. I have the guns. Like, we'll just hit it. Nobody's gonna stop us. We'll get it. It's in and out. Nobody gets harmed. Like, yeah, it's easy to even goad grown adults into doing things they don't want to do, right? Like, I do things I don't want to do every day at fucking work, right? Like,
we're far more accepting of trans kids than they ever would have been in like 1920, 1930. 100%, right? So my question is always like, well, then how come the teen suicide was so low? when the kids like couldn't come out to express their the fact that they need to transition, right?
Yeah, why was it so
that
low?
Reinforcement. Because the argument they make is the kids have to be able to do this, or else they're going to unalive them, right? They're going to kill themselves if you don't let them do this. And it's like, well, how come if there's this,
well, that's funny because like we do let them do it, and then they still have a 42% suicide rate.
same amount of trans people before, they just weren't able to come forward. They just weren't able.
The problem with that argument that they say, would you rather have a live son or a dead daughter? That argument doesn't work when you look at the actual statistics of people who transition.
Not even close.
It goes the opposite way. It's also, you have to take into consideration the ubiquitous use of psychiatric drugs, and that a lot of these, they're very recent in terms of like.
Yeah, like this is the side. This is the thing that they don't talk about with the kid. It's like, hey, little Jimmy, you can become a girl. Not really, but we can make you think you're a girl, and we can pump you for our hormones, and we can cut off your penis. But that's permanent, and there's no going back. And then you're now enslaved to this medical apparatus for the rest of your life. Like, if you stop taking these pills, you're gonna die.
How many people have been prescribed these things, and we're finding out that it's not really what they said it was in the first place. There's no chemical imbalance. It's not real. So then you have to think, like, well, what's the effect of these things? And what are we doing with these things? We're getting people addicted to these things and hooked on them, where they're going to be on it for life. Then there's this effect where it numbs your genitals. It stops you from being able to ever have an orgasm ever for some people. It's one of the more horrible side effects of these things. And you have pharmaceutical drug companies that are pushing them on people, and a ton of people are on them. So you have depressed kids going through
because it makes money.
puberty, entrapped in this insane fucking moment in history where people think it makes sense to give a child hormones before they even hit puberty, or block their hormones before they even hit puberty. And you're giving them psychiatric drugs. You're just like flooding them with all sorts of shit, whether it's psychological or chemical. And we're depending upon what side of the ideological spectrum you are on, you either think it's amazing or you think it's a crime against humanity. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's a crime against humanity. And you know what's really interesting about it? This is the side that screams about consent more than any other side, right? This is the side of the feminists. This is the side of the everything is based around consent and consent.
Yeah. We know all about consent here, boys. It's crazy. It's crazy how consent changes in hindsight months later.
have a couple drinks, you can't consent.
You can't have sex if
Yeah.
you're raping each other. If it's
Yeah.
if you're drunk and she's drunk together, right?
you're both
You're
criminals.
both criminals.
Yeah.
And yet they somehow seem to think that like an 8 or 9 or 10-year-old can consent.
There's so much that well, from both sides, that's insane. But there's so much on the left that's so insane when it comes to contradictions. One of my favorite new ones is the Mamdani grocery stores. They said, how are you going to ensure that people from New York have access to the grocery store? Well, they're going to have to show ID. Yes. But how crazy is it that your checkers game is so shit.
Oh, I
You're
love
like,
that
okay,
shit.
Here we go. And people are like, do you know what you just did?
Yeah.
Do you know what you just
Give
did?
yourself a checkmate.
Jesus fucking Christ, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen anybody say when you just got done saying that you don't want people to show ID for voting. Because it'll
Just
affect-
franchise them.
especially poor people. They're talking about poor people and people of color, which are the people that you would think the poor people are the ones who are going to use your grocery stores. So you're going to disenfranchise them from getting access to your 30% off groceries.
You know what's bizarre about that argument?
They
too?
won't ask for ID. Meaning New Yorkers can buy cheap goods. So, but they asked him today, and that was what he indicated, that they were going to find out whether or not you're actually from New York. Well, how else are you going to do that?
You have to have ID.
I think this is just a response to the reaction, like saying that. August 3rd, which is today, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this is what they said after what he said. So what he said was yesterday. So there's probably a massive blowback where people realize how crazy it is to say that. But it's also the whole thing is like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we trying socialism? There's
Yes.
like a giant percentage of the population that thinks that's a good idea. It's like
Coming out of the East.
34%.
Coming out of
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. I'm getting tired, boys. I don't know if I want to finish this.
the East again, by the way.
Oh, they really believe it too. They really believe
Well,
it.
Didn't you recently pissed off Chelsea Handler? I saw.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
No.
Oh.
What happened?
Well, I guess she's very upset with moving out of the East has a lot to do with that too. There's the idea of class jealousy.
There's a little bit of that, but there's also a little bit of young kids really feel like the system is rigged and that these pigs have gobbled up all the gold, and they're being told that. And so,
Well, they have actually, like the boomers, the people who are like 65 plus, they actually control. I think they could. What is it like? 60 or 70% of the total wealth in the country is all owned by people 65 plus. So yeah, it is kind of a problem. And the boomers are very greedy by nature. They were raised to be greedy, sloppy pigs. So they don't share that wealth, and they don't plan to, give that wealth back. They plan to just die with it, right? A lot of them do. My grandparents are like that. They plan to just they literally just plan to die with it. They're not giving it to anybody. They're just going to die with everything they have, right? So it's not necessarily true. It's just that the answer is not socialism, because that's not the answer to the problem. But yeah.
this is a thing, like Billie Eilish said, hey man, no one needs to be a billionaire. Give away your money, homie. Like, it's
Oh, well, why don't you, Billy?
It's crazy.
crazy 'cause you're rich,
Yes,
okay? And
very
you,
rich.
you also live on a house that's on Indian land. You see the Native Americans that originally owned the land in which your house is?
No,
Like, yeah,
no, I
it's- But it's the idea comes from a good place. I know in their heart of hearts they think that they're being kind and they think that they're doing the right thing. They really do. They think they're being inclusive. They think they're righting the wrongs of colonialism. They really think that.
Yeah.
And they think that this idea of democratic socialism is a really good idea, because there are some examples of socialist policies that do work, like the fire department. And
That's what I'm saying. You can't argue with these people. It's a waste of time. They do not think nobody thinks they're the villain in their story, right? So there's no point in having an argument or discussion with these people, because in their minds, they're not doing anything wrong. They're doing the right thing. Well, I was taught in school. I was raised to you got to be inclusive, and that colonialism is bad and America bad, and we did all these bad things to people of color, and we're the slavers and all this, which we weren't, by the way. We're not even we weren't even the number one, close to the number one slave fucking country. Well, whatever. It's ugh. So in their brains, they are the hero of the story. They are doing the right thing. So it's you can't rationalize somebody out of a position they didn't rationalize themselves into. It's just fucking stupid.
there's a bunch of stuff that makes sense. But the problem with enforcing any of this stuff that they don't understand is it always comes down to power. You have to have massive authority and
Yes.
use guns, because you can't just steal people's money. They're not going to let you. You're not
Yes.
gonna let you just come in and decide, hey, we just
It's all
devised a new
about
tax
power.
where everybody who makes more than $500,000 a year, everything over that, you have to give 100% to the state.
Or 95, whatever.
And here's the thing with the argument. Even if you said, oh, wouldn't it be great if they did contribute more, and would it be, they have so much money, would it set up the world in a better place? Sure.
They do contribute the most. They contribute the most tax revenue. They contribute jobs. They contribute salaries. They contribute employment. If you don't have the rich creating these things, you have nothing, right? So they already spend the most money in taxes. They already spend the most money in shit, and it's just stupid. It's like how about you educate people on how to generate wealth? How about that? How about instead of stealing the wealth from people who figured out the system, you actually go in school and you have classes that teach people how to generate wealth? Because you know how you don't generate wealth? You don't generate wealth by just working a 9 to 5 every day, right? That's not how you generate wealth, right? You generate wealth by working a 9 to 5 every day, but then you take some of that money and you put it away into a CD, or you put it away into a high interest rate like banking account, right? Like you actually invest it into something, right? So it's like you don't become wealthy by just working a 9 to 5. You have to actually take the money you get from that 9 to 5 and you have to invest it. You have to take it into places to generate wealth for yourself. Like whether that's starting a side business, whether that's like I said, putting it into a CD or like an investment bank account or something. Like that's how you generate wealth, right? But the problem is you don't teach people these things, right? Right? Yeah, exactly. You should get Caleb Hammer, right, in 8th grade. You know, the problem is education is garbage. We teach people incorrect history. We teach people things that are completely pointless and nonsensical for them. Like you don't teach, like, how do you, like, people don't even know the law. You, like, if I ask like 90% of people like online, like right now, like, hey, do you know all the laws? No, they don't. Like they don't even know the laws of like the state they live in, right? So it's like, shouldn't that be something that you teach like in school? Shouldn't you be taught like, hey, here's actual things in the real world you need to know how to do. You need to know the laws, right? Here are the laws of this state and like of the federal government, and like how you can kind of basically interpret them, like how the structure works. Like, oh, here's how you file taxes. Here's how you do all these basic things that get people out of trouble, right? Because so many people get in trouble with taxes all the time because they have no idea how to fucking file them, right? It's like, oh, here's how you actually like create a small business. Here's how you generate equity on something. Like you're not taught how to generate wealth. Like that's the problem. The problem is not that rich people keep getting richer. Rich people keep getting richer because poor people are getting stupider. It's not because they're like there's not as much money available, right? It's because they're stupid. They're fucking stupid. Like people are actually getting dumber. Like you can see this by like, I think, weren't they saying like 40% of kids in high school can't even, they're illiterate? Like the problem is people are actually getting dumb because our education is actually failing. Our education is failing to actually do anything proper, right? It's like they don't teach you equity. They don't teach you how to generate wealth, right? So if you don't know how to generate wealth, so it doesn't matter how much money, right? COVID was a perfect example of this. It didn't matter how much stimulus checks you handed out to all these fucking retarded black people and all these fucking dumb poor white people. No matter how much money you fucking poured into their gullet during COVID, they did not spend it on rent. That's why you still had to have a rent moratorium. They handed out the whole point of the stimulus check was so they didn't have to have rent moratoriums. They didn't want to have to try to implement that shit. But people didn't pay their rent with the money they got from the government. They went out and bought graphics cards and PlayStations because both of those things skyrocketed in price and they all sold out. You could not buy a fucking PlayStation during COVID. And it's not because of manufacturing issues. It was because everybody bought them all because they all got $1,300 stimmy checks. And then half the fucking country was living on unemployment that was also getting propped up by an extra $600 every fucking week, right? So it's like people were making like $3,000 to $4,000 a month, not working and getting stimulus checks every fucking 2 months. So they were just spending it all on fucking garbage. Like anybody who was smart would have taken that free money and invested it. And then like set themselves up for when COVID ended. And then like, bro, you're fucking chilling. You would have had thousands of dollars in your bank account and you would have been invested into something, right? But no, people bought video games. They bought consoles. They bought graphics cards. They bought computers. They bought dumb shit. They didn't pay their rent. They didn't pay their fucking bills. And that's what happens when you give money to poor dumb people is they just spend it. They don't invest. They don't create equity for themselves because they don't know how. Nobody's taught them this. They just take it and they spend. They think, oh, I have money, I spend money. Right? So that's the problem.
Sure. But the fucking program that you have in place that takes the taxes and disseminates it is massively flawed and corrupt. It's corrupt. It's filled with waste. Filled with waste. There's scammers all over the place. You've got $24 billion missing in just the homeless in California. And then they veto the audits when everybody's trying to find out. So just saying more taxes is what we need is nuts. The first...
Yeah, it's not more taxes. I mean, the government's too corrupt to trust with your money.
thing you should do is clean your fucking house.
Yeah.
Clean your house. If you want more money, you got to figure out what you did with the first money. Why is there so much waste? Why is there so much money missing? Why do you have 38,000 NGOs? Why is the people why are the people running the homeless business? Because it is a business. Why are they making $750,000? That's a lot of money.
It's a lot to administrate the homeless camps.
Yeah, they need to eat well. They need to go to Felix and have a
Well,
nice dinner.
it's hilarious to me too. You saw all the waste and fraud that's been going on in these various states when it comes to elder people getting their funds, right?
Yes,
You've seen
yes.
all of this happening, and of course they're all trying to run away from it as quickly as possible. But this is the problem, and I bring it back into this idea of the class system. When you have under universal suffrage, especially when you have the voters outnumber the wealthy, you can just vote yourself a raise. You can always vote yourself more money from
Right.
whatever
Yes.
the class is.
Yes.
And that has been progressive dogma and doctrine since I was a kid. The entire idea is, hey, things are fundamentally unfair, and it's not your fault. So what we have to do is get together and vote ourselves a raise.
Yes, this is what like the labor unions do. This is why like labor people make so much fucking money. Of course, I mean you kind of lose most of that money you make because of dues, but like you're basically guaranteed a very large wage if you join a labor union, right? And it's because that's what they do. They go and go, hey, it's not his fault. Like you're fucking this up. We give him more money, but it's like that doesn't solve the fucking problem either, to be honest. Like, so the problem is like no matter how much money you give somebody, if they don't know how to actually use that money and invest and create equity for themselves, then you're just throwing money out the window, right? So
From the upper class, that's what we got to do. But it fundamentally ignores how wealth is created. And wealth is not created by giving somebody money.
Right.
What happens when you give somebody money is they go and spend it. But they usually don't use
Thank
it
you.
to generate
Yes.
wealth. It almost never, in fact, they
thank you, Andrew. Exactly.
use it to generate wealth. And so you vote yourself these raises. You vote yourself from the public treasury money to yourself. But what does it actually do for you ultimately? Because that's not how you generate wealth, ever.
Not only that, you incentivize people to move to a place that's more friendly to their economic ideas.
True. You also, but one of the fundamental kind of ideas here that's flawed. How many times can you vote yourself the wealth of those above you
Right.
before they have no more wealth to give you? Out east, in fact, when you see these communist, Mondani, things like this, they're going to institute all of their programs on your dime. It's not like they have money. And whenever I talk to people about wealth disparity, what's really funny to me is they always seem to think that the government can just materialize wealth without there having to be some payback for that wealth.
Yeah.
We saw this during COVID-19 and the lockdowns. You remember they were handing out money like it was candy to various businesses that were shut
Yep.
down, COVID relief funds, things like
Yep.
this. And they go, inflation's out of control. Yeah, is it?
Yeah, crazy.
You're kidding, is it? Do you mean the government can't just materialize $1 trillion and not
Well, technically it can. Technically, the US dollar is fictitious. They can literally generate it as much as they want, and they can set the inflation to whatever they want. So technically they can, but they're trying to operate on like a global system that makes sense, right? So they can't technically do it because then it kind of fucks up the system, but technically they can, because ultimately nobody is going to check us on our debt, right? So like people will be like, well, China buys up all our debt. They own like 60% of our debt. Yeah. So who cares? If we don't pay them, what are they going to do? Is China going to send their scary navy over here? Their coastal navy? Yeah. Largest navy in the world. Yeah. It's all coastal ships. Like it literally can't, half their like 90% of their ships can't even sail in the ocean. Okay, it's all coastal waters, like naval power. Who cares? That doesn't do anything to us, right? So is China ever going to come collect our debt? No, they're not, right? So technically, our debt doesn't matter because we are the bank. Like America is the World Bank. We are the bank, right? So what? I don't even want to get into this tangent, but like where we fucked up is like Roosevelt is the one who, yeah, Theodore. Theodore's the one who fucked it up, right? Because he sold us out to the bank, right? During World War II. Whereas like in World War I, we were the bank, right? We controlled the banks. The banks worked for us. The banks controlled Europe because they worked for us. So by extension, we controlled Europe. But then in World War II, it got fucked up because of the Jews, of course. It's always the Jews. And then we sold ourselves to the banks like fucking idiots. And now the banks owned us instead of us owning the banks. Then the banks owned Europe. Yeah, we fucked it all up. But essentially, we could print infinite money. Like we don't actually have to care about the debt ceiling, and that is a reality. As long as we are the number one superpower with the strongest military in the world, like nobody's gonna come nobody's gonna come knock on America's door and be like, hey, you know what? We want that $3 trillion you guys owe us. No, I don't think so. Like I send 7 aircraft carriers over to your nation, and I tell you no, go fuck yourself.
inflate the money supply? Well, that's just go figure.
Right.
And so a lot of times these socialists, they even try to make the promise like, hey, we're only going to tax them after this rate, but it's never enough money for them to fund their socialist programs to begin with. The government will have to materialize money.
No, yeah, if you give them more money, they're going to expand the government.
100%.
They will expand. And they will expand the programs, and they expand the fraud, and they expand the waste. The other weird thing that Mamdani's done is make a list of all the people that are rich. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He like released a list of all the people that made
Yeah,
up
it's-
It's
yeah,
like,
it's
hey, what are you
weird.
doing? You just made a list of targets, and you're putting these people in a bad position. Like that seems really crazy to do.
But don't you think that these people they actually do think that wealthy people are evil?
I don't know if he does. I think that's it's a bit of a you're going along with whichever way that plastic bag is flying in the breeze, and that's where it's flying right now. Is that wealthy people are evil? So you say that, and it's a great excuse to tax the shit out of them. And it's all
Yeah, but what happens when you're the wealthy person? So yeah, wealthy people are evil, but then what happens when you become the wealthy?
also a great
Are you evil now?
excuse to pretend that you're making like meaningful change and you're really doing the right thing for the community.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. It's all
Why
gotta
you
be for
destroy the community.
Yeah, why you destroy the community? Because the money is going to leave the state. The money's going to leave the city, and that's the reality of. And it's not that they're greedy. So they don't want you to take their money. You didn't earn it. You didn't make an iPhone. Go fuck yourself. And if you think that people should have a cap on how much money they make based on what arbitrary numbers that you come up in your own head, well, you're going to exclude any extraordinary outliers from creating incredible products,
Destroys
massive
innovation.
companies. Yeah, maybe it's nuts.
Yeah, it's stupid. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is an educational problem. It's not a greed problem. It's not we need to cap this problem. It's not even a problem the government should be getting involved in the first place. The government should have nothing to do with this, right? The government has its own corruption and money problems that it needs to deal with on its own. It doesn't need to worry about like what businessmen trickle down effects and all this shit, right? It's like it's a educational problem. The problem is people go to school and the school system trains your brain to function on a 9 to 5 schedule, because the whole point of early schooling and the way it was designed originally was to basically essentially program normal people into accepting like a 9 to 5 work schedule, like just work slave mentality, right? You're kind of like, okay, look at the board. Now copy it on your notes. Now I'm going to give you a test. You need to circle the answers of the thing I just told you 10 minutes ago. Like the whole point is that like it's repetition. It's basically an indoctrination. Like public schooling is indoctrination for basically work slave labor. That's literally what it is. That's what it was designed for. That's literally what it is, right? You're not actually taught anything meaningful that you need to do. Like that's why half the shit that you're taught is completely pointless and doesn't even apply to you. It's just like it's work repetition, and it's made there to basically get your brain and program you to be a work slave in like the modern working system, right? It doesn't train you on how to generate wealth for yourself, how to generate equity. It doesn't train you how to do any of that. Now, if it did, you wouldn't have such massive wealth disparities. Like you wouldn't, because people would know, oh, I need to go make my own business. And this is how I do it because school taught me this. Oh, this is how I apply for loans. Oh, this is what I need to apply for loans. This is what I need to do beforehand. Like, oh, these are the options in a bank that I have, like CDs and like in high interest rate, like equity accounts. Like I can invest into those. Like you're not taught how to do any of that, right? So giving somebody money when they don't know how to turn money into more money is pointless. Like I could give you $10,000 right now, but if you don't know how to turn that $10,000 into $20,000, then what was the point of me giving it to you? You're just going to go spend it, use it all, and then have nothing left afterwards.
That someone wants to be a trillionaire. Yeah, I agree. It seems fucking insane. But you have to have the freedom to be able to want to do that if you're all playing the same game. If you're playing a game and you decide I only need 250 points, and this one guy's like, I got fucking 100 million points. Like that crazy guy, that Tiger Woods guy, that guy who's gonna fucking practice 12 hours a day, he's gonna make the most. He's gonna do the most. He's gonna make the bigger company. He's gonna put more in. He's gonna die of cancer because he fucking is massively stressed out 24 hours a day. That's his prerogative. You should be concerned if that person has an undue influence in your life.
Well, they
You should
already
be
tax the
concerned.
hell out of him anyway.
They do.
They already tax the bejesus out of these people anyway.
And there's an illusion and a bad narrative that they're not responsible for the enormous percentage of the taxes.
Oh, yeah,
that they don't pay their share. They pay an enormous amount. They make way more. They pay way more than the average person. They're responsible for a huge percentage of New York City's tax revenue. A huge percentage. And in California, like a massive percentage of the tax revenue is like a half a dozen people.
Well, and a lot of times the people in California that they claim are rich and really need, they're farmers. They're farmers who are driving huge revenue because they own a lot of land.
Right.
And it's like, but they're producing a huge amount of food. What is it like? Most of the produce of the United States comes out of one state, California, and they're a net exporter.
You know another thing that we were talking
Which
about?
is funny because like California is not even like supposed to be an agricultural state. Like it doesn't actually have the land for it. It doesn't have the soil composition for it. They had to like basically import all of that to like turn it into one.
Fraud with old people that I just found out recently. I was listening to Michael Easter. Do you know who he is? He, what is his, The Comfort Dilemma? Is that his book? Very interesting guy. He's been on the podcast a couple times. But he was talking about the blue zones. You know those blue zones where, as you light a cigarette, where everybody lives to be 100 because they only eat vegetarian or they eat
Like the
shellfish
Japanese?
and Japanese? Massively based on fraud.
Really?
Yeah, massively based on fraud. The numbers, especially in certain areas, are massively based on people who die and they don't report their death. This is in Okinawa. They're talking about the blue zones are bad data. These locations aren't hotbeds of 100-plus-year-old people. The wild story of fraud and bad data. Michael Easter. And so he was on a podcast recently and he was talking about it and just laying out all the various details. A lot of it in Okinawa in particular, where it's one of the hotbeds, one of the blue zones, it's when people die, they don't report it to the government. And so if this
So they
person
don't have the death rates correct.
right, and this
So
person's
the death
getting a
rates
check,
haven't-
if you're getting a check and the family gets that check, they just don't report it. So like if they're getting some sort of whatever it is, I don't know how
So
they
that
report it,
brings
some
the
social
average
security. Oh yeah. So you have unreported numbers, and then you have massive amounts of fraud where people are profiting off of the fact that their dead grandpa is still getting a check in the mail, and so they don't report him as dead.
That's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is wild.
And
No,
one
that's
of
the first time I heard that. I grew up with the Japanese diet, the samurai diet. Right? This is going to make you live forever.
Mediterranean
Yeah,
diet.
these guys live forever.
Mhm.
And yeah, okay, it's all okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, there's some data with certain areas that eat very rich rich in nutrient foods. So there's that data that they seem to be healthier. Hong Kong is one. They eat a lot of meat in Hong Kong. But I know it goes against the narrative, but apparently very healthy. And that data
No
apparently
kidding.
seems to be
Eating
real.
meat is good for you. Who would have thunk
Isn't
it?
that crazy?
Except every bodybuilder I've ever talked to who sits around eating nothing but meat.
Any professional athlete, yeah. I mean, there's very few professional athletes that are plant-based, and you can do it, but it's not optimal, and you have to be really careful.
No, plant
You have
based.
to, like,
You'll die on plant based.
really buff eggs.
Yeah, no,
Eggs.
always. We've always killed to eat.
Yeah, life eats life, and that is the reality. We do. We're like, nah, I'm out of the game.
It's named after David Attenborough. I was wondering why it had this weird name.
Fall in there and die, and it eats them. Look at it. It's they're alive, and this animal violence. You know,
Oh no, I've debated with vegans who have told me that their plan is to get rid of all of the predator animals. All of the predator
Yeah, okay. I don't.
who would have to have so many mounting was the staple. Every farmer had a pheasant gun, and they would walk the railroad tracks with their kids. The pheasants would pop up, boom, done. Once they took the coyotes out there, guess what they didn't eat? They didn't eat the deer. They ate up all the pheasants.
that's
They have the permit to do it. They can't keep the population of these deer down, except now they have the additional population of all these coyotes. And so how do the Michiganders deal with that? Well, they made game of it. So what they do is they hop in the truck with Granddad, they have their dogs with GPS collars, and during the wintertime, after they're done filling their deer tags, they hunt coyotes with their dogs all throughout the winter. There's just thinning them out.
well.
That's-
At least they allow that. At least they allow that because California, one of the things they did where their bear populations exploded because they stopped bear hunting with dogs, which is the only way to get them, either baiting or dogs.
Because don't you treat them?
Yeah. And the other way is baiting, and they outlawed that as well. Yeah. Every time they bring in an animal to deal with another animal, they always fuck it up. Hawaii is one of the
Yeah, it's
best.
almost like you should just not do that. It's crazy.
Like bad motherfuckers, man. They kill cobras. You know, they're just killing these
See, it's
birds.
like an office lady. It's just like an office lady. I have this idea.
Oh,
You're
my
not gonna
fucking knees killing me.
situation where Native Americans don't have genetically a history of alcohol use, and so alcohol impacted them different than it did the Europeans. Like they didn't have the enzymes.
Not just that, they have another problem. Have you ever seen the petrol song?
The petrol song.
Oh man,
Oh yeah, dude, the petrol song. Fucking who showed him this? It was fucking oh, it was fucking Jake, bro. Jake showed him the petrol song. The shit was so fucking funny. Yeah, Indians have a problem.
what I'm about to show you is going to make you laugh to death. There's a song which was made by the Australian government for the Aboriginals about how you shouldn't drink or sniff petrol, gasoline, from a can. I'm not kidding. You can pull it up right now. It's the gasoline song, right? It is
Yeah,
the-
I mean,
you're-
they don't
Just be
know.
prepared. You're gonna laugh yourself to death.
Oh my God, here we go. Don't Be Rama Rama by Warburton. Is this it? Put the headphones on.
Yeah.
No sniff. Don't sniff. Yeah. Oh, step on the bottle.
Look at us, we can stay forever. Show me sister, show me brother. And we stay strong for one another. Come on, come on, come on, come on, yeah. Come on, come on. We gonna lead us over the mountains. You don't say that just like I can.
Oh my god, bro. Fuck. It writes itself. It fucking writes itself.
You don't sniff petrol from a can. You put your petrol in the car, it stays. It's messing with your brains. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Wow. Oh
Smell
my
pretty good though, to be
God.
honest.
Catchy song.
Yeah, catchy
Oh
stuff.
my
Very
god.
catchy.
Fucking
Jesus
writes
Christ. So
itself.
imagine you have that, and you think you're gonna fix that problem with a catchy song?
No, and they have huge problems. He tells me stories about it all the time. He sent that over. He said this song exists. No, it doesn't. No way. Sends it over. Oh my God, it does exist. It's a real thing. It's such a problem for him.
God, that's dark.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Oh.
And that's the sort of addiction problems that are going on there. It's not just like people forget. It's not just the alcohol introduction. It's the introduction of all things which are addicting that begin if your culture has no defense against it, just sweeps right through.
Right.
Very similar to the crack epidemic, right? What was the
Right.
defense?
Well, it's also the accessibility.
Well, that's happened with opium, right? During like the opium trades, right? It's like white people got fucking Asian people were they're used to that shit. You know, like Asians and fucking like Arabic people, they're used to opium. They've always had it like, in their culture, but like when the opium trade started hitting like, the Western countries, bro, it fucking just devastated the white man. The white man loves his opium.
Right?
Mhm.
Crack was cheaper.
Just like petrol.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, it's that whole thing of giving them their land and giving them money. Boy, that always turned out horrible.
It's turned out horrible for us here.
the
It's turned out
Native
bad for the
Americans.
native populations.
Except the ones that own casinos. Ballin'.
You know, it's funny. You look into that, though, and you find out, guess what?
Yeah.
They don't really get that much in the way of proceeds from those casinos.
Exactly.
Turns out that White Eye comes in and still gets most of the proceeds from those casinos.
Yep, somebody comes in, bankrolls it, and sets it up, and they get a nice check, and they don't have to work again. But that guy gets fucking stinking rich. And then also you've created a gambling problem, which I am of the belief that you have to have personal accountability. Like, I don't mind Las Vegas. I don't mind it. I think if you want to go into the casino, and, like, my friend Dana White is a fucking degenerate gambler. Like, he plays blackjack for like $100,000 a hand. It's nuts. I don't like it. I don't do it. I don't get it. But I feel like you should be able to do it. That's what you want to do. Sure. And then the argument is, like, people lose everything, and, like, true. Also, people lose everything drinking. I don't know what you want to do about that, but I think you should have personal accountability, and you should, if you're an alcoholic, definitely not drink. I don't know, like, at what point in time do we say you can't? Because some people.
Well, it's called shame, Joe Rogan. Like, hey, you shouldn't do that, buddy. There's bad consequences for it. Now, then, yes, if they still want to be personally accountable, they can. But it's like, I could still give you shit for it, right? Like, I could still give you shit for being a gooner. It's not like I'm gonna like fucking strap you down and like be like put a gun to your head till you stop doing it. But it's like if something happens that's your fault for being a gooner, like somebody calls you out on it, or like you getting embroiled in some bullshit later on, it's like, well, I did warn you, brother. Like.
People enjoy playing craps. They look forward to going to Vegas and they want to play craps. Like, what do we?
Well, and overwhelmingly now, people go, okay, I'm going to go to Vegas, I'm going to go to Laughlin, I'm going to go to a place like this. I'm bringing the exact amount of money that I can lose. And
That's
they
if they're
just expect to
rational.
lose. Yeah, just expect to lose. There are degenerate gamblers, there's no doubt.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, there's tons of degenerate gamblers, that's true.
My friend Dana's a weird one because he's a degenerate gambler that's insanely wealthy.
Yeah.
Like, he's worth fucking shit piles of money and he's still gambling all the time. Like, but
Like there's a thrill for it,
yeah,
maybe?
yeah. Well, so but when you set up one of those casinos in a place that's never had a casino, at least Vegas is like established, right? But if you just like set up some new casino in a very poor area,
Check out that stat.
Oklahoma rose to 3.23 billion. Oh, native gaming revenues in Oklahoma rose to 3.23 billion in 2010, representing 44% of all U.S. casinos. Whoa! Oklahoma surpassed Connecticut as second in the United States for gaming revenue, according to Alan Meister, an economist.
Damn, Connecticut's fucking not the king anymore. That's crazy.
They don't have cultural traditions on how to manage it correctly.
You had watched the thrashing, which I was telling you, I was in the front row when that happened.
Yeah.
That guy was just beyond upset. You know, everybody was tracking him. And I was gonna get your take on that. Like, what did you think after you had watched that? Did you feel bad for that guy? Or?
No, I never feel bad for someone that is. And if that's what, like, I don't feel bad for guys when they fight and they get kicked in the head. You know,
You signed up for it.
I don't like that people get injured in a fight, but you're trying to do that. He did it to you. That's what it is. It is what it is. You know, and it's just the weirdness is like tell her to make him a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like that. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, is he talking about when his wife fucking debated Shapiro? I don't know why they keep like platforming this guy.
Like, are you a misogynist now? Like, you think a woman's? What are you saying? Like, they don't think at all about. It's like the checkers thing. Like we're talking about with the ID for the grocery
like
store.
terrible
It's
optics.
like, what are you doing? It's also wanting to be right and to win versus like having a really well thought out perspective that you want to argue. You know, like or debate or just communicate. It's always this ego thing where people are trying to win, and in doing so, they fall into these like really obvious traps.
Easy ones, too.
That's one of the things that when we first talked about doing another podcast, I want to talk to you about because you know you're very logical in your approach to these things, and so many people are so bad at being logical.
Yeah. Well, you know, Dave, I did a debate, pretty famous debate with Dave Smith. I know you know Dave. And
Yeah, the first debate with Dave Smith was real funny. Dave got real upset. It's funny. It's so funny, bro. I fucking remember watching that shit, man. Dave got real upsetty spaghetti.
Dave's a friend of mine, and we became friends.
I love
after-
Dave.
Yeah, we
He's a
became.
very good friend of mine.
They were not friends at first. Like, let me tell you, bro. Like, Dave thought this guy was so bad faith because he's like, "How dare you ask me questions like this?" It was like, "Okay, Dave, all right."
What happened in the debate?
Well, he got crushed badly.
What was it?
He did get crushed badly. It was really bad.
It was it veered into his libertarian philosophy.
I can hear him right now going, "Fucking, I did not fucking get crushed."
He won't actually on this one.
On this one, he
he's
agrees
very
he got crushed?
publicly acknowledged that this happened to him, but it was good.
So it was about
I mean, he has to, bro. It's on video. He did get crushed. It was really bad.
Libertarianism.
He actually got mad. Like, he actually got mad.
There was libertarians versus Christian ethics and how the intersection actually happens with authority. And he ended up having to agree with most of my positions. I'm a little bit more of a statist than he is. He's a libertarian. And so we had this, and it was a good back and forth. It was a brutal debate, but it was a good back and forth. But when it was done, I think what he expected was that I was going to do the Dunk on Dave tour. I was going to go around.
Right,
but the
right.
opposite. In fact, I DM'd him and said, look, I think that I can help shore your worldview up. So you're libertarian.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because Andrew was kind of like half the stuff Andrew was doing to Dave. It was like kind of like a joke. Like I could tell like Andrew's like he actually kind of liked Dave, and he was just trying to like have like a cat. Like he was just kind of. He wasn't even really going that hard on him. He was just kind of hitting him with like a couple like Socratic fucking questions, and Dave was just melting down, bro. He just did not want to answer any of them, bro.
Those are some points that you missed, and I think I can help shore those up. He said, really? So I walked him through a bunch of those points, and he still uses them to this day.
That's cool.
But the
He
whole
does
thing is,
actually, yeah.
I do want my worldview to win. Ultimately, that's true. And one of the reasons I do so many debates is because I do think that I'm speaking to the audience from my worldview, why I think it's perhaps superior to this guy's or the things I'm advocating for are better or worse. With Dave, he's doing the same thing. He's advocating his worldview. I think the difference there, the distinction was that he was surprised, and he kind of asked me about it. And I said, look, the reason is because you're a good debater, and you've gotten better as time has gone on. And if you're going to represent your view, I want you to be the best at representing that view, because that's how you determine which worldview people end up going with. This is why so many people have moved towards Christianity and Christian seeing the religious debates has a lot to do with that, with the various ideas in worldview being expanded, and then the kind of the graciousness even after the debate of trying to help the other person with their view.
That's very cool, and that would be nice if most people used that framework to have discussions.
They don't.
They don't. No, they don't. It's just, and again, it's like it's a part of what we're talking about, that there's this whole commodity.
Well, listen, I do that. People don't understand that's what I'm doing, but like I do that, right? I ask you questions about your worldview so you understand your worldview, because I've said this 1,000 times, but most of these people don't even understand why they believe the thing they believe. If you ask them, it's like, well, like, why do you actually believe that? They can't actually answer you. Like, it's illogical. Like, they don't have a logical reason why they believe some of the shit they believe. So it's like, okay, so it's like, happens all the time where like people think I'm arguing with them, or like they get really defensive and then they start going into like I have to win now mode, where it's like, no, brother, I'm just asking you questions. I'm like, well, what makes you think that's true? Okay, what makes you think that's true? Okay, what led you to this? You know what I'm saying? We're trying to connect dots. Like, I have to understand your worldview. I can't have a conversation with you if like I don't understand what you actually believe. And then sometimes you find out that they don't even know what they believe.
Of attention, and there's a lot of attention on dunking on people and shitting on people and being mean, and people love that stuff for whatever reason.
That's true. Now, I'm not always that charitable when it comes to progressives or leftists, the people who I consider responsible
No.
for many of
Yeah.
the most horrific
Fuck
things
'em.
in society socially that we deal with. I'm not nearly as charitable to them. But this is because, in my humble experience, they have not been very charitable to anybody.
No,
anybody's views.
It's a very hyper-aggressive position, and very prone to insults and
And violence.
Normalized. Like attacking people is normalized. The celebration of Charlie Kirk is a great example of like the cruelty that's normalized, right?
And when you get down,
Doxing, harassment, using like orbiters and using like third parties to do your dirty work for you is very common, right? Because the orbiters, the third party, wants the attention that you can give them. Like, they want you to retweet their stuff. They know that if they do your bidding, that like you'll get them followers too. They kind of grow with you. It's like, you know, rising tides kind of thing. So like, yeah, they'll take your side on everything until you eventually don't need them anymore. Then you fucking throw them away, and then you turn on them too. So
the core pillar of their ideology, a lot of them think not only is this justified. I'll give you an example. There's a guy who's inside the Twitch sphere who says, well, wouldn't you kill Hitler if you could before he became Hitler? That's his
isn't that Vosh that says that?
justification.
Right.
And so you see many progressives who have this kind of justification, and that leads to a huge amount of political violence, which becomes normalized because they justify it through the lens of, I'm stopping a monster.
Right.
I've never thought these people see me as a human being. I don't think that they do. I think that they see me, most of them, at least the ones I debate with, as an actual monster
Yeah.
who's trying to take from, or destroy them,
Yes.
or hurt them in some way.
Yes.
And so from my view,
First time, Andrew. Yeah, like I said, this is you can always kind of boil things down. If you don't understand the complicated nature of things, you can always kind of like extrapolate those into a smaller thing, because everything is the same, right? So like, you know, things that go on in like our little sphere of the internet is no different than the shit that goes on in politics, right? Or any other area. Like, it's the same problems, it's the same gripes. People's natures comes out in everything, right? So it's like, same shit happens to me, right? I'm AI Hitler. I'm an AI monster. I'm literally a demon, according to one specific person, and I need to be wiped from existence. And I should have no legacy, and everything to do with me should be taken away from me. And history should be rewritten to write me out of the books of our niche little history. Like, these are things they have actually said, like not even to me, but to other people who then told me that this is literally what they said. So it's like, I don't even think that my ops even see me as a human being anymore. They have none of them have any sympathy for the shit that I went through for the last month. In fact, you literally saw this on Twitter as they made everything about themselves, even as they all came out and admitted that, like, oh, he wasn't crazy. We did know about things the whole time behind the scenes. And then Shiver shows DMs showing that they were all involved before she even moved out, by the way. Before she even moved out, they had already contacted my entire admin team and basically already started spreading allegations, right? So it's like they already did this. She outed all of them. She showed us even more of the shit, by the way. So we've seen way more of the shit than she even released publicly. She was very gracious to them, by the way. And the reason why she was gracious to them is because she still wanted to like maintain her friendships with them. Like, to her, she was confused why they were tossing her away and why they were turning on her, right? So she was being very gracious with her Google Docie towards them by not releasing more of the shit that pretty much damned all of them. But she did show it to all of us in Skynet afterwards, right? So you can see it just in their actions, right? None of them have any sympathy for what I went through. I was slandered and falsely accused with no evidence of anything for an entire month, and I was ostracized from my own community that I created in the fucking first place by my own friends that like involved themselves in my personal life and went above and beyond, crossing boundaries they should have never even got into. Like, none of this was any of their fucking business in the first place. So they should have never even been involved. When they got DMs about this, they should have just ignored them, right? So it's like, yeah, they basically banned her because she was like, nah, they were she was gonna throw them all under the bus, essentially, yeah. But anyway, it's like, even in their public apologies where they had to finally have some admittance to like the things they were doing, they still made it about themselves, right? They still then went on like another tweet rampage the next day about the mental struggles that they're dealing with and how somehow my relationship has affected them in some way, when it's like, no, you created the problem that we're having. This is a problem of your own creation because you inserted yourself into something that had nothing to fucking do with you, and you should have just had some fucking brains, right? Because if like for example, if Hyde's wife came to me and was like saying like, oh, he's beating me and shit, do you know what I would have said to her? I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but you should call the police, right? I don't go and start gaslighting her, making her think everything happening to her is abuse and he's a terrible person and that, oh, we have to get you out of there and we're going to conspire this whole plan together to get you out of that house. Just call the fucking cops. If she's telling you that I was abusing her and doing all this shit to her, then call the police, right? If your wife comes to me with all the same shit that my girlfriend came to you, I would have been like, hey, listen, this isn't my problem. You need to call the police if it's that serious, right? I'm not going to be like, all right, let's conspire a plan together to get you out of there. We're not going to tell him. I'm going to go message all of his friends and his admins that have nothing to do with this, by the way. Like, what the fuck does my Discord server have anything to do with my personal relationship, right? So, like, I'm going to go do that. And involve all these other people, spread all these allegations out. We're not going to tell him anything. We're going to make him think he's fucking crazy as he slowly learns that we are doing something and we are involved and we do know things, and we're not going to tell him. You're going to leave. You're not going to leave a note. You're not going to tell him why, because that's dangerous. What if he tracks you down somehow? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in my non-existent vehicle and go track her. Like, it's fucking stupid. It's like, no, hey, you should call the cops. Thank you. It's not my business. I don't care. Call the cops, right? No, that's not what they did. They did the opposite of that. They inserted themselves into it and made it their problem, right? So, yeah, it's like, which is why it's like, at this point, I'm no longer a human being to any of these people. I'm literally a demon. I'm not allowed to be sad. How dare I talk about the things that people did to me? You're causing drama. You won't leave us alone. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you're literally spying on me. Like, Shiver literally showed not only me, but like 20 other people in Discord, like your entire spy network, where you guys have a whole group chat dedicated to spying on every tweet and every single stream I do. I mean, you out yourselves publicly on Twitter as you all go, well, Feeble said this on stream. Bitch, how do you know what I said on stream? I delete 90% of them. So it's like, you're in my streams clipping stuff. You're constantly in my streams listening. I don't watch your fucking streams. I don't give a fuck about any of your content. Most of you make shit content anyway, and you have nothing fucking interesting or good to say anyway. So like, I don't even watch your shit. So it's like, you out yourselves publicly as actually, yes, you are spying on me. You do watch all my streams. You do meticulously go through everything I say, because you're always bringing shit up that I said randomly off the cuff in a stream. I don't even know how the fuck you know I said that, because I delete half of them like afterwards anyway. So it's like you're spying on me, you're doing all this shit. I'm not doing any of that to you. I could really give a fuck less. But then somehow you're still the victim in everything. And it's like, who cares what happened to him? He's not a human being anyway, right? So yeah, that's basically TLDR of that.
That's what it.
So this same thing applies to everything, right? Like, so this same shit happens in politics, right? Which is kind of what his point is, right?
It always seems like coming this direction is that they don't even see me as a person. They see me as like an idea. Or
You're an
ideology
ideology,
that's there to
yes.
hurt them.
Right,
Yes,
so
in
they-
your ideology, they have to
and then-
attack.
And then, of course, they're in the echo chamber of the people that also support that ideology, and they're all like agreeing that this is okay.
Yes, an echo chamber. Yes, they went off and created their own little echo chamber, where the entire like core foundation of that echo chamber is this person is a bad person. We can never like this person again. Everything they do is evil. They're not a human being. They're a demon, right? So the entire foundation of your entire existence is hatred of essentially me. But in this case, in terms of like these leftists, it's him or it's Donald Trump, right? So
And that this is acceptable, and this violence is acceptable, and all these different things. Yeah, it's really it's kind of daunting because you're just like, when does this dust settle? When do people just like relax and start having actual conversations on both sides? Like when do people just do what you and Dave did and just find out why a person thinks what they think and what the actual facts of what they're saying are, and whether or not your worldview is distorted
Or compatible.
or compatible.
You
Yeah.
know, like Christian ethics living inside libertarianism, from my view, is way better than trying to make Christian ethics compatible with progressive ideology.
Right.
And so if I have to pick between a guy governing like Mamdani or a guy who holds the ideology like Dave Smith, I'm picking Dave
well, yeah, it's because your ideology lines up easier. So it's easier to like find common ground with somebody who's like 60% of your ideology, right?
Smith's ideology. And those are the choices. That's how I view it. I view it as choices between ideology. Somebody's going to be in charge. Somebody's going to be in charge of the state, no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to pick the ideology that's closest to my own. If you're going to be in charge of the state, I definitely want you to at least be representing the values that I have while you're in charge of it.
And the values of being legitimately charitable and a pathway to redemption, which doesn't exist as progressive, which is really a problem because they keep pushing the goalposts and eating their own. They keep going further and further left and attacking people for not being left enough. And like you get cast out of the community, you get excommunicated.
And they were like booing Joe Biden fucking that was like a month ago. He was doing that fucking that event that like it was like super like it was a Democrat like hosted event and they were like he was getting booed. It was so funny.
I mean, how many people were excommunicated during COVID for just not going along with the government's narrative on pharmaceutical drugs?
Being injected in your body absent your consent.
Yeah.
Yes, follow the narrative. Do not ask questions. If you ask questions, if you criticize us, or you poke at anybody in our group, then you're poking at all of us. We're a cohesive, like communist unit. You attack one of us, you attack all of us. You can't be in here anymore. Like, all
Many
right.
of them wanted COVID passports. Remember that?
Yeah.
They wanted to inject the jabby stabby into YouTube. Even censored opposition to it for a long time.
I think there's a real problem with people that don't have an ethical framework or a moral framework that's just arbitrary, and they don't.
Yes, there is a problem with people who don't actually have a proper ethical and moral framework, right? That means their moral and ethical framework is subjective, which means it becomes whatever is convenient for them at the time, right? So it's funny how a group of people can say these things on Twitter, make all these grandstanding fucking like virtue signal posts on Twitter, but then behind the scenes, they're actually pieces of fucking garbage. They're actually human waste. They're feces, like feces that I step in when I like that I fucking like smear off my fucking foot in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like you're actually human refuse. Like that's actually who you are at your core as a person. You have no morals, you have no ethics, you have no boundaries, you have no like you have no principles you live by. It's just whatever works for you at the time, whenever it's convenient for you, right? So
Don't have a religion.
and those people are dangerous and they're a problem. And yeah. So but like I said, let God sort that out, let karma sort that out, right?
This
Foundation.
Yeah, like that's where I always describe it as like whether you believe in Christ or not, it's an awesome framework, like a scaffolding for being a good person. You follow that guy's teachings, like there's no flaws in it. Like especially Jesus, like there's not one thing you point to. Like there's a few guys in religion that you could point to and go, yeah, well, he married a 9-year-old. Like, hey,
Yeah.
that seems a little fucked. Hey, he said he could kill the infidel. That seems a little fucked.
Mhm.
With Jesus, there's none of that.
None of that.
None
Not
of
only that, it's interesting that you bring that up, the kind of foundational principles. For Christians, the emulation of Christ, we accept that we're flawed. We accept that we sin. And we
Yes, the church is a hospital for souls, right? So if you're not sick, you shouldn't be going to church, right? So you go to church as long as you're sick. When you're not sick anymore, well, what do you need the church for at that point, right? I mean, so essentially the church is a hospital for sinners. That's what it is, right? Like true Christians understand that they are sinners, that are not perfect, they make mistakes, but the point is you own up to them and you repent for them, right? Unfortunately, some people forget that part of it.
accept that the only pathway for us to redemption is to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ through Christian ethics, right? That's how we perceive things. So baked into that is not only redemption.
Yes, your salvation only lies through Him. That's the point. Yes.
It's not only the idea of salvation, but it gives you a value to move towards.
Yeah.
And what's missing often from the progressive ideology, from the secular ideology or the atheist ideology, how do you give a person a moral ought? if you are the ultimate arbiter of all that is moral, because it just comes down to your preference.
Right.
How do we determine who the ultimate arbiter now is?
Right.
Well, it usually just comes down to you and whatever your preferences are. And so, what are we moving towards exactly? How do we make the determination that you're in error? You're not moving towards this greater value.
What you do is you're establishing a new, non-defined religion that can be moved and changed based on
The winds,
yeah,
yeah.
At any given time, and depending on who's the most radical and the most charismatic that's in charge of whatever that movement is at the time. Eat the rich, whatever it is, whatever.
They turn
Whatever
into
crazy
little
thing-
microcults,
Yes.
right? Like have you seen the secular humanist
Sure.
microcult? Same thing there. They-
Remember Atheism Plus?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Atheism Plus. Secular humanism is really interesting because, and I've debated the most prominent secular humanists in the world.
Who's that?
Well, I did Matt Dillahunty. I've done several secular humanist debates. Matt Dillahunty was the funniest thing in the world. He rage quit in the first few minutes of the debate.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, he rage quit. That shit was funny.
In my opening statement, because I brought up this glaring contradiction
I love secular humanists. They're
in
funny.
his worldview. I said, why should, so he was dating a trans, he's dating a trans person. He says he's not gay, right? He said, I'm not gay, but I'm dating a trans person. So I brought this up and I said, the way that we can assess truth claims, I can just point an easy one out of how we can assess that maybe this isn't a good way to evaluate truth claims.
Right.
Because he says he's in a non-homosexual relationship with a trans woman and reconciles that by saying, no, that's a real woman. And I'm like, if we can't even distinguish what's real and what's true, how could you even
Did he
have
rage quit off that?
Oh, he was so angry. He called me a bunch of names, got up and rage quit for me pointing out this glaring contradiction in his ideology. And it basically ruined his career, but he did it to himself because he should just stayed done the debate. And here's why I think this, but instead he just lost it. He lost it, got up, undignified, threw the mic, called me a bunch of names, walked out, and
Yeah,
said,
that shit
"You
was
husband, have
funny.
a wonderful evening." And he just, that was it for him.
You and your husband have a wonderful evening.
Is it's changed. So he was reading from the Secular Human Manifesto 3. So it's already had, it's on its third revision now. And it started initially as kind of more religious dogma, and then it took on a non-religious dogma. They called it secular
Who's
humanism.
creating the canon?
There was a big meeting in Amsterdam. Not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's the Amsterdam Secular Humanist Manifesto. And essentially it just comes down to these arbitrary preferences around, we're just kind of for things that make you feel good and kind of against things that make us not feel so good. Now, that's the biggest oversimplification in the world, but it really does just kind of reduce to that. And so one of
Yes.
the ways that you can always kind of endlessly
My
beat these people head and
preferences.
shoulders with their own ideologies, just point this out. Who's in charge of this anyway? Like, which one of you gets to make this determination that this is the ought that I should follow based on anything other than your preferences? And the idea always is, well, it wouldn't just be my preference, it'd be the preference of many people, but don't those change? Well, yeah. Well, then what you're saying is that what you consider moral today.
Yeah, it's what the group thinks. It's society thinks these things. Okay, well, society thinks that like you should go to church every day, and then you should we should get rid of no fault divorce, and then like ultimately society leans towards my worldview. Then by your own worldview, you have to accept that. Correct? Oh no, I don't believe so. It's like
You're not going to consider moral tomorrow. That tells me that you're saying to me, you don't know what is moral and what is not. The Christian has the opposite approach. They're saying what was moral yesterday is still moral today, and what's still moral today is still what's going to be moral 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now,
You know.
because that's the teaching they're basing it on.
yes,
It's really odd if anybody. It's like Wikipedia. Like anybody can contribute.
Yeah, or edit. You can just edit it whenever you
Yeah.
want to. Thank you, bad. Edit.
It's way worse than Wikipedia because it's not even edit. Like you could actually add to the canon. You could,
Oh, yeah,
right?
true,
you could
yeah.
write your own, the Book of Eugene.
Yeah, Book of Eugene, and this is Eugene's new prophetic way forward.
Yeah.
That is 100% true, and there are actual fail-safes in the Bible that prevent people from writing new Bibles. Right, the entirety of the message of Christ in and of itself. This is what Christian ethics is based on: the teachings of Jesus Christ, the teachings of the Scriptures. But it always gives us a thing to move towards, and that is why it creates, I think, better societies in general, better societies overall, because people always go, "Wait a second, I'm supposed to be moving towards this idea."
If you really do follow it, it makes nice people. Like the people that I know that are like genuine, real Christians are some of the nicest people I know.
course.
They're so kind, almost as nice as the Mormons.
Right?
the nicest.
The Mormon thing
They're
is
the
funny,
nicest.
yeah,
because
dude.
it's like, if you have to be in a cult, like you said, boy, that's got to be the one.
It's a great one. You get a
It's it's the best cult to be in. Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie, it is a pretty good cult. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, if I was gonna be a part of a cult, it would definitely be Mormonism for sure.
bunch of wives. Everyone's cool.
And do you know that they're the
And then I become a god and I own my own planet.
richest? They're richer than the Catholic Church.
Oh, really?
Much richer.
I don't think that's true. They're very wealthy. The Mormons are like one of the wealthiest religions, but like it's not richer than the Catholic Church. That's crazy.
Wow, much
I
richer.
would have never guessed.
I
that.
didn't either until somebody told me that. There's no way. Yes, there
There's
is.
so many Catholics. Aren't there way more Catholics?
Way
than
more, but it's the tithing. So Mormons are
Oh.
really, they practice nepotism like no other. I mean, and they just overwhelmingly practice this in their communities. And so with the tithing, business tithing, some of these businesses will tithe the Mormon church 60, 70%, and then they get awarded various contracts from their friends and things like this.
Oh,
and the church
wow.
has buku dollars.
Damn, what a nice setup.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice setup for them. And then they run their own politicians inside their own states.
Of course.
Yeah, which then enforces their law. It's like they kind of figured a lot of this out.
As long as they're nice. Whatever, if they could push that niceness out to everybody else, like why? What do you got here, Jimmy?
It does.
It's official Mormonism is the richest religion in the world.
I mean Catholicism as a whole, somewhere in the $2 trillion.
Oh, because there's a bunch of different Catholic churches.
Yeah,
is that what it is? Oh, I
right.
see.
But the single richest church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of Mormons.
Wow, they have $100 billion.
Yeah,
They're way above everybody else.
Yeah, it's
Like
not
the
even close.
Vatican is only 30 billion.
30
I would have
billion.
never guessed they were that much richer than the.
Yeah, but this is like that's just the Vatican. It's separated. So like if you put all the Catholic Church together, yeah, it's not even
That
close.
That's not correct.
Is that it?
That is not correct.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying it's not correct.
How so?
I mean, well, also it's a Wikipedia post on Reddit. It's not the best source.
Oh, you just think this is just not accurate in general?
Yeah, whatever Holy See is.
That's the
not
Vatican.
Yeah, that'd be
I know,
the-
but I mean, it's got way more than $30 billion, and just
That's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
just art.
I wonder, right? That's a good
That's
point.
what I said. I just looked it up. It's worth $3 trillion. It says on this other post.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So just the art
I'm just
or the buildings and the Vatican itself?
getting into the weeds of it. Yeah, as one whole church in Utah, yes, comparatively to the one church in Texas. It's got
So are they just
a whole
basing it
lot
on their assets? Is that what it is?
Also,
Like,
it was comparing it to like per person, per look, average Catholic is worth $67,000 versus $1.7 million.
Damn, the average Mormon is worth 1.7 million.
Nepotism,
Yeah,
baby.
and also there's way more Catholics like in Africa that aren't worth
Right,
anything.
and South America especially.
Right, but that is crazy. The average Mormon is worth 1.7 million.
That's also probably their stat.
Yeah, at least
Right,
the
right,
rest
yeah,
of
Probably
that.
go.
Bro, join us.
That's what Scientology does, right?
Oh, that was a big thing with Scientology in Hollywood. In
Yeah,
Hollywood,
that's how
after the movie
Scientology
1994,
spread,
There was
yeah.
a bunch of people that were doing really well who were Scientologists, and there was this sort of push that if you join Scientology, they take care of you and you get hooked up.
That is really.
They did take care of you. You did get hooked up. That's how you got a lot of movie deals back then. And then they started finding out they're crazy.
a wide berth. It's between 300 billion and 2.5 trillion.
There's no-
That's really wide. It's almost like Ilhan Omar's accountant.
100%. Africa's hiding something
I heard the
here.
other day that someone just said like Rome didn't go away, it just became the Catholic Church, and that's why
Right. Have you been to the Vatican? Oh my God, the art is insane. It's insane. I went on a tour with this guy who's a professor from France. It was really cool. He was really smart. It was a very interesting tour. You could hire a guy, and this guy was a professor, and in the summer he would give these tours. And if you were enthusiastic about it, he was awesome. And I was like really, really into it.
You notice which churches weren't on that list, by the way? Basically any of the Orthodox churches. You know why? Because we don't fucking like, we're not interested in collecting money and having our own like Swiss bank account like the Catholic churches. Kind of shows you where the priorities are, right? Dick Shirley is a Mormon and very good. Cinema Therapy are Mormons. Holy Ball is a good Mormon. Yeah. The thing is, though, you have to be careful with Mormons, Penny. Is like Mormons are kind of like Islamists in a lot of way, where like they tell you one thing to your face because they're they have a word for us normal people. The Mormons have one too. You should ask them what it is. And they're only allowed to tell the the quote unquote goyim so much, right? They have different they say different things behind closed doors. Let's just put it that way. So like I have a general distrust for Mormons because like I know what actually goes on behind the scenes in their churches, and like I know what they really think about certain groups of people. So like yes, they have a very nice facade of being normal, very well disciplined, very nice people, but like the facade that people put on is not always the same as what people actually think, right? So you got to be careful. Yes, she told horrible stories about her Mormon husband. Yes, there's a lot of horrible stories about Mormon relationships. Yes.
So I was asking him all these questions. He kept explaining in depth to me, and like you just never run out of art. You're looking at so much shit. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. You keep going into new rooms and new auditoriums, and then you're in like St. Peter's Basilica. Just that alone, you're like, what? This is crazy.
And it's all worth a fortune.
It's so big and so majestic that if you didn't believe in God and you went there, you'd be like, okay,
maybe
they might know something.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did you do this? Like, it's so majestic that it almost changes your perception of what's possible.
You think they got the chronovisor in there?
What?
The chronovisor, the Vatican chronovisor?
What is that?
That's supposedly, this is conspiracy stuff, right? Getting into the conspiracy stuff. Supposedly, the Vatican is sitting on something called the chronovisor, which tells them the future. And it was invented, I don't know how many hundreds of years ago. But you put on the chronovisor, and it shows you the future. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God. Where's the arrow? It's pointing to like.
It'll be like Jesus or something like
I
that.
don't understand.
Yeah, and so
So you put it on a hat?
yeah, you put it on, and it'll show you. It can show you different spots in time or something like this. Called the chronovisor.
Well, I'm really interested in the Ark of the Covenant that's supposedly in Ethiopia.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard Graham Hancock talk about that?
No.
It's really interesting. So the Ethiopian Bible has a lot of like Book of Enoch in it, and it's a really old version.
They don't consider it Deuterocanon. They consider it canon. So the Ethiopian church is not actually. I don't believe it's actually in communion with the Orthodox Church anymore.
Right.
It's on its own, along with a couple others. But they do have more books in their Bible than the Orthodox Church does in the Catholic Church.
Right. And supposedly they're guarding the Ark of the Covenant. And these people that are assigned to be a guardian of this thing, they can only do it for a couple years, and they develop cataracts. And he spoke to these people.
From
And
the blinding light.
from whatever the fuck it is, like whatever it is, it might be radiation. I mean, who knows what it is? But apparently, the lore is that it's this one particular church, this very old church in Ethiopia, and there is an area where they are guarding the Ark of the Covenant. And they have, and the people that are supposed to be in the room with it, they all can only do it for a couple of years, and then they get horribly sick,
And then they have to switch them out.
and they get cataracts, like this documented cataracts from all these guys.
Yeah, I mean that was documented even in like the Middle Ages, from like Templars and shit that were apparently guarding the Ark of the Covenant. They would actually like go blind. So like that's been documented for a long time actually. So that doesn't surprise me. I don't know if the Ethiopians have it. That'd be
To go to, I mean, maybe
Interesting.
it's the placebo effect. They think they're going to get, I don't know. But I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
It sounds more likely you've got some sort of a crazy artifact that might be ancient technology.
You have the same thing in Israel over Jesus' tomb.
Supposedly.
Yeah, the chronovisor.
I just read the article. This is like it says a purported photo.
Oh,
of
it's
Jesus.
just clear. That's clearer than whatever his name is, Tyler Robinson.
Right. That's in 4K.
This guy
Right there.
swears that he had the ability to go witness these events. He witnessed like tons of stuff, and then when he died, it says the Pope hid it, so nobody could ever.
Nobody could ever use it.
How
again.
convenient.
Very convenient.
How convenient.
But yeah, another big miracle that's like that is over the tomb of Jesus Christ sits the Orthodox Church in Israel. And that's true, right? That is in fact the case. There is an Orthodox Church, Christian church is above the tomb.
Wow.
And every year, I think it's every year, they have the miracle of the Holy Sepulchre. I think I'm pronouncing that right, sepulchre. And what they do is they use flame and emulate themselves in this holy flame, and they're burning. They're on fire, and none of them burn.
What?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Nobody knows. But
This
there's
is just one small sect of Christianity.
no, this is the Orthodox Church. People come from miles around.
Who are the people that light themselves on fire?
These are people who are in the church who are specially selected to basically emulate. They set themselves on fire with the holy flame from torches. And apparently, this is what I'm told, they've had people go and investigate, and they can't figure out how exactly this is being done. But they're completely on fire and they don't get hurt at all.
Jamie, pull that up.
I have.
Is there video of that?
There is
Before I
video.
get there,
Really?
demonstration
Yeah.
on Greek television.
Of them,
Did
like,
5 candles in white
putting-
phosphorus. The candle spontaneously ignited for approximately 10 minutes due to the self-ignition properties of white phosphorus when in contact with the air. According to the website, it says that phosphorus is dissolved in an appropriate organic solvent. Self-ignition is delayed until the solvent is completely evaporated. Repeat experience with ignition can be delayed for half an hour or more, depending on the density of the solution.
How does it stop them from catching fire though and dying?
The same way that's probably like the just the people on to make movies, you know.
He's a skeptic. This motherfucker. He's always ruining everything with all his logic.
I think the
Ugh.
skepticism is great if people actually practice the real philosophical tradition of skepticism, which is you're supposed to also be skeptical of your view.
Right.
So the real skeptics, I'll never forget this debate that I listened to. That it always stuck with me for years. It was with a guy named Jay Dyer and that same guy Matt Dillahunty, and they were debating. And
Oh, here it is.
Sorry. I was
Go ahead. They were debating.
yeah, they were debating. And he said, the guy Dillahunty said, well, I'm a skeptic. And Jay said, no, you're not. Here's the actual philosophy of skepticism, and it always starts with you. Your view is what you apply skepticism to first, long before you ever apply it to any other. And the problem with people who describe themselves now as skeptics, I'm a skeptic, they actually aren't really following skepticism. They're skeptical of your view. That doesn't mean that they're skeptical of their own, and it's supposed to start internally. That's what made skepticism kind of something that spread widely, was that it was a way for people to reject parts of their own worldview that didn't fit, they didn't match, they weren't coherent, they didn't make much sense. And so most of the time I hear skepticism, the person's not actually following the philosophy of skepticism, they're not applying it to their view first.
Yeah, there's a lot of lazy skepticism too, where they didn't outright deny the existence of conspiracies, like which is just
True.
fucking ludicrous.
True,
It's like
true,
you're just-
true,
you're playing
true.
You're in a very rigid corridor of ideas. You're only allowed to
Oh, it's
operate inside
ridiculous.
this.
Not only that, the U.S. government has thousands of laws on the books about conspiracy. So it's like our government seems to believe in them because there's conspiracy to commit racketeering, conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to commit theft, conspiracy to commit wire fraud.
Yeah.
Like, they clearly believe that there's a lot of conspiracies going on and definitely prosecute people for conspiracies all the time. But somehow, when it comes to the skeptic mindset of conspiracy, nope, that's all tinfoil.
It's a lazy perspective, and it's also a perspective that falls in line with what we were talking about before, where you take a lot of legitimate conspiracies and you add a bunch of bullshit to it to make it seem completely ludicrous, and then the whole thing can be thrown out.
Flame
and
the
dismissed.
zone.
It's like it's
Yeah.
so obvious that that's a ploy. Did you find anybody catching fire?
The first, I was getting into, I was like, well, they're not really, they're like just dancing their hands over the fire. Like it wouldn't catch anybody on fire technically. You're not lighting
these
anything
guys
on
are-
fire. See, like touching this.
These
thing,
guys don't look like
and
priests,
then she's
though.
putting her hands through it. and
Oh,
whatnot.
so they're faking it. So
Not
the few people are
faking
faking
it,
it.
but
Oh, this guy's lighting his beard on fire.
So there was a lady that at the end of one of these videos, she held a piece of paper over it, and it was, I mean,
Well,
wasn't
isn't stuff
catching
like
on
regular fire?
But that's where I was
Yeah,
getting into the white phosphorus thing. I said after 30 minutes, it will start acting as you expect it to.
Look how it seems like everybody should be on fire. How odd.
But yeah, it's a long-standing tradition. Like she's wiping it on her forehead or something.
Yep. Huge tradition there. They call it the miracle.
Here's another tradition in America. I gotta take a peek. So let's wrap this up. This was
Okay.
really fun, man.
It was
Thank
a
you
lot
very
of
much.
fun. I
Always
appreciate you having
cool
me in this
hanging out.
All right, that was great. That was awesome. I had a great time, guys. I kind of started falling asleep towards the end. Let me do is Null. What is Null's channel? Null Filmish, right? Pardon my folly. I was told I need to watch this, I guess. And then I'm out of here. So.
Forgive me, I'm just a fool.
I love Null's stuff.
Forgive me, I'm just a fool. I got a mouth full of mic, yet my mirror knows all my pride pros is cracks that show. I tripped on my pride, bit my own damn tongue. Said I'm above that, then became what I'd sung. I know my own flaws, I can name them in rows. The pride, the haste, the rash words I throw. So I won't hold your fall like a permanent stain. When I've worn my own pain and shame. If you were rough, if you lost your cool, I won't make a monument out of your fool. Cause I needed that mercy more times than I knew. The same for my brother, the same for you. I've seen how a small hurt grows. Our sharp word lingers and stings and holes. So before we both go low, let the mercy we need be the mercy we show. Pardon my folly. I pardon yours. Pardon my folly. Keep mercy warm. What I can't cleanse in me, I can't condemn in you. Pardon my folly. And pull me through. I watch friends turn to fronts over one small slight. Turn to
My knees. I'm out so I don't get spoiled. Yeah, fuck off, Penny. Ever seen this yet? Yeah, it's pretty good so far. I mean, Null's like one of the best creators in the space, bro. He's actually like has his own unique shit going for him.
warm good name to a
And nobody gives a fuck. This guy has like no subs, by the way. Oh, he's not even at 1,000, man. It's crazy.
long cold night. Still I know what I know. When my best goes dim, I want hands, not the mains. When the world gets grim, too quick to accuse, too slow to amend, too proud to be first, too scared to begin. So I turn my blade and fold it flat. I would rather be kind than be right like that. Cause the judge in my chest got a shaky seat, and the jury in me got a crooked beat. We're all of a kind, all cut from the same, all warm by the wind and a little bit vain. Look at us, all scraped and split, still reaching out, still trying it. We're not saints. We're just trying to stand with a little more mercy in each open hand. Maybe the cure is smaller than we thought. A loosened fist, a lesson softly caught. Not who's the worst, not who's to blame, but I know that wound I wear the same. Let the verdict wait.
Let the door stay wide.
Let the sharp word drop.
Let the wounded cry.
If I need your grace,
Then you need mine too.
would I ask for me?
I must pass to you. Pardon my folly.
I pardon yours.
Pardon my folly.
Keep mercy warm, but I can't cleanse in me. I can't condemn in you.
Pardon my folly.
And pull me through. Pardon my folly.
Pardon my folly.
I pardon yours.
I mean, that was good, bro. Always a banger. Always a banger. Always a banger from the number one himself. Yeah, this is good. Good shit. Good shit. Anyway, I am going to bed. I like the multi-self cameos like Eustace. He's always just kind of been focused on like actually making like music videos rather than like cameo slop. But yeah, I mean Null's fucking good, bro. He is literally the GOAT. Super underrated, super underappreciated. I really think he should have won the Lyra Chronicles shit, but it is what it is. Also, like, it's criminal that he's under 1,000 subs. I don't even know how the fuck bro. The Breakfast didn't even get 1,000 views. Alien Princess got 2.6k. I'm not sure got 11k, right? Costumes got 1.9k. I don't know how Costumes got such a low view count. Right. And then Brothers Breakfast, like literally like this shit is like actual fucking art. This shit is like actual fucking art. And this is sub 1,000 views. Who disliked this? What is wrong with you? I'm not gonna watch the full thing, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. I just like that's like sub 1,000 views, bro. It's crazy. I don't even know. I don't know how it's possible. Oh, yeah, I'm out of here. Goodbye. Fuck off. Don't come back. Oh yeah, Wednesday. I'm doing something Wednesday. You guys can look forward to that. There's something going on Wednesday. I don't know if it was posted yet. Yeah, I don't know if he posted it yet, but yeah, Wednesday I have a big collaboration, so look forward to that. I probably won't be streaming though. So, yeah. Who the fuck is live streaming in Discord? I'm gonna go